Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So today's pick a card is a very exciting one, and it has been quite some time coming, and I'm so excited that we're finally doing it. As you can see from the title, or you may be coming over from the Queen's channel herself, this video is a collaboration with Aso Tarot, aka the light of my life, the apple of my eye, my Aries brethren. So today we are bringing you a Starseed collaboration reading. So over here on my channel, we are going to be looking at your Starseed origins. So where are you coming from? Whether that is singular place or multiple places, probably multiple. There may be specific names of places coming up, or we may be describing what the place looks like, what the beings are like, what you were doing there, perhaps who was there with you, and sort of paint the picture of your previous environments and experiences that shaped you as a starseed before you came here to Earth. And then over on Aso's channel, she's going to be looking at why you are here. So why you chose to come to Earth at this point, and what you're here to accomplish, what impact you're here to have, what you're here to learn, and all of that stuff, looking into, your calling on this planet. I don't know if I have to introduce Aso to you guys. I'm sure most of you are familiar with her channel and her amazing readings already, but she is a fellow reader here on YouTube. She does incredibly in-depth and insightful readings that provide so much wisdom, but at the same time, they're delivered in a way that is easy to relate, that makes you feel comfortable and at home. And she has this way of really making you feel seen, understood, also called out and healthily roasted at times, which I really appreciate. She is so authentic. She is so wise. She is so beautiful. I love her so much. Aso, if you're watching this, I love you so much. So please feel free to check out her channel if you haven't already, which is probably very not that many of you, because I feel like a lot of our viewers are like the same community, which is also really awesome. But I'm gonna link her YouTube channel, her Instagram, her merch, all that is gonna be down below. So yeah. Let's get into your option selection. So there are 4 readings for you guys to choose from today, and each group has a different crystal that is also in a different shape. Oh wait, this is me from the future, from like a couple minutes in the future. I want to mention that it is very much okay if you feel drawn to several of these groups, because as I mentioned, you could have multiple origins over the course of several lifetimes, or maybe you were, I don't know what it's called, a star jumper, going from place to place, even within one lifetime. So there could definitely be messages for you in multiple groups. And I really want you guys to really just take in the shapes, take in the symbols, and see which one is really calling to your heart, or ones. So yes, this has been Message from Future Kino, and now let's take a close-up look at each of your options. So for option number 1, we have this rose quartz Merkaba. For option number 2, we have this Fluorite Dolphin. For option number 3, we have this blue Labradorite Heart. And for option number 4, we have this Selenite Star. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the Rose Quartz Merkaba, this is going to be your reading all about your starseed origins. So there's actually something that I want to mention to you guys right before we start. Before I started filming your group, I noticed my tea leaf fortune cards deck, and this card was like jutting out of it. I was using this deck recently and I probably just like put them back when I finished and didn't notice this, but then I noticed it today, and so I was like, I wonder what this card is. And it was the Fair Man. And you guys might know, but it is said that Pleiadians have this type of appearance, like they have a pale complexion, they often have like blonde hair, blue eyes, almost like a Nordic look. It doesn't mean that you need to have this look to be Pleiadian, but I thought that this might be a little sign that you guys do have origins in the Pleiades. So I just wanted to mention that. And then I realized, like, oh my gosh, this rose quartz Merkaba actually reminds me of Pleiadian energy as well. Not just the shape of the Merkaba, but rose quartz does remind me of Pleiadians because they're just so unconditionally loving and sweet and pure beings, and that just really reminds me of the rose quartz energy. I also want to mention, since I've been talking, I've looked up at the camera timer twice and I saw 55, and I also saw 111, so those could be important numbers for you guys, repeating 5s and repeating 1s. And actually, that's likely a strong indication that there is a powerful new beginning happening in your life soon, and major radical change happening in your life. So I'm not really sure how this reading is going to go. I think I'm going to leave it open to however your star family wants to relay these messages. But I did make a note of specific locations that came to my mind when I was sitting with your energy, and I wanted to show that to you guys. So we have obviously Pleiades because of the Fair Man and the stone that you guys chose, and then I also picked up on Lyra, Vega, which I think is actually part of Lyra, as well as Orion. So this is just what I picked up intuitively. We may see more locations come out as we look at the cards, but I'm gonna leave this here just so it stays fresh in your mind. You might resonate with some of these names right off the bat, or if you feel called to, you might want to research deeper into them and see if you resonate with their descriptions and with their traits. But without further ado, let's take a look at your cards. So we're going to start off with these oracle cards. We have Empathic Starseed, Energetic Sovereignty, Absorbing What's Not Yours. We have Man Holding a Heart. Travel. Shamanic Journey, Cetacean Whale. I think that's how you say it. Sirius could also resonate with you guys because Sirians tend to have an affinity for whales and aquatic creatures. We also have Jupiter with Abundance. And then we have the Breath of Love. Breathe deeply and feel the power of life. And it's interesting, this person also has fair complexion and blonde hair. So it seems like Pleiadian energy is coming through pretty strong for this group. Not related to starseeds necessarily, but with Jupiter energy here, you guys could have Sagittarius or Pisces placements. That could be another confirmation for you that this is in fact your group. But let's get into the energies that we have here. I also just saw 420 in case that's relevant to you guys. Anyway, I'll just go through these in order. We are definitely dealing with a group who is incredibly compassionate, loving, sweet, pure and innocent souls. I almost want to say like too pure for this world. You guys might have an affinity just for animals in general, as well as nature, especially like plants and flowers. You guys might keep plants in your house, or you might have a garden, or just really feel a lot of healing from plants. You might be the type of person who like talks to trees or who likes to hug trees. Like you feel very at peace in nature nature. And it's something about the purity and the unconditional love that these beings, that these plants and animals give off. I think that where you come from, or where you've spent a majority of your time before coming to Earth, really like you lived in harmony with your Earth. You might have had a very advanced society, but I feel like it was never in a way that hurt or damaged the planet Earth like we might see here. And that could be something that really disturbs you on Earth. The way, like, the more society advances, the more we develop, the more we are hurting the Earth and the more we are hurting the animals. That might bring you a lot of distress, and you may feel that part of your life purpose is to do something to save the planet or to do something to help animals. You might be interested in like reforestation or more sustainable energy sources. You might be interested in like more sustainable food sources, wildlife conservation, animal rescues, ocean cleanups. These might be things that are very, very close to your heart because you are so used to living in a world where all of the beings are thriving together, and the advancements and accomplishments and developments of one race or one species is not at a detriment to the others. Like, the philosophy where you come from is like, there's enough for all of us. We can all thrive together and we don't have to compete, and I don't have to squash you in order for me to be lifted up. You guys might have a really hard time understanding like competitive spirits between humans, or like jealousy between humans, or like comparing yourself to other people. It doesn't mean that you won't feel those things sometimes, because I do think that you could absorb those kinds of energies from being here on Earth, but I think for the most part, it is something that is a little bit foreign to you. You might often ask yourself, like, why are humans like this? Why do they do that? And, you know, why am I falling into these traps? Which, don't be hard on yourself, because being a human is hard to navigate, and we can fall prey to those like lower vibe emotions sometimes. That's very much okay. But one thing that you definitely have to be careful of while you're on this earth is absorbing energies that are not yours. I think that you have a highly empathic quality about you. You also likely have very strong telepathic abilities. I think that whether you're with one person or with like 100 people in a room, you can kind of tell what people are thinking and feeling, which I'm hearing can sometimes be disturbing for you, because some people have quite dark thoughts and quite dark emotions, and it can also be overwhelming, because if you're, like I said, like let's say you're in a busy shopping mall, or you're in a full train and there's a ton of people in there, and you can tell what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what they're going through. That's just, whether it's good or bad, that's just a lot of information to process. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift to have, because you have the gift of connection to others. You have a gift of accessing the collective consciousness. But definitely while you're here on Earth, you'll need to be discerning about the energies that you let in and the energies that you access. And that can be kind of hard, because I feel like in your origins, you didn't really have to do that, because most of the energy around you was just so loving and pure. And even if you let all of it in, it just felt so natural. It was like everyone being connected and everyone being as one, I think, is something that just came more naturally. I think with man holding a heart, there's definitely a lot of compassion and unconditional love where you come from. Literally, I feel like love was just literally in the air where you come from, because this is about the breath of love. I feel like when you breathe in, you literally feel love entering your body, and you feel the power of life. Something about the air or the atmosphere where you've come from, it's like just charged. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like charged with life force and charged with unconditional love, such that every single breath was so nourishing and so energizing. Like there's just always so much positive energy all around you. I do think there's a lot of lush plants or something resembling plants, things resembling flowers and trees and leaves, vegetation. I think you guys get the picture. And one thing that I also want to say with a man holding a heart is that I think divine masculine energy was very, very developed where you come from. So we had people, or I should say beings, who are strong, who are leaders, who are pioneers, trailblazers, motivators, protectors, initiators, very ambitious, expansive, bold, brave, but also loving. And we never exhibit these traits at the expense of someone else. And we never exhibit these traits to prove that we are better or to conquer someone else. It's like, yeah, it's a divine masculine energy. So you might possess these traits, or you might feel very, very drawn to masculine people or to men on this earth who possess those traits. And if you are attracted to men or masculine people, your life partner might be someone who is very much like that. You know, like they're a tough leader, but they're also very like soft and loving and compassionate and nurturing. Like a really, really healthy masculine energy. So you might have a lot of these figures in your life, or crave to have those kinds of masculine figures in your life. With travel here, I feel like travel and Jupiter are kind of similar, because they both remind me of Sagittarius energy. Jupiter energy is very expansive and loves to learn and grow, and I feel, and explore and broaden their horizons. So I feel like these cards are quite similar. And interestingly, if I'm not mistaken, Vega, and it's funny because they're called like vegans and it's written the same as vegans. You guys might be like vegan or vegetarian, especially if you feel like an affinity for animals and the planet and stuff like that. But what was I talking about? Right, vegans or vegans, people from Vega. I believe that they like expanded out to other constellations and made like colonies. So they were very much like a traveling species. So that could be something that's kind of in your blood. You might have wanderlust, you might have a travel bug, a desire to see new sights and to meet new people. And I feel like for those of you who are very into travel, you might especially be interested in like the people, like the different types of people you can meet, and also the nature, you know, like visiting different climates, being able to see different landscapes. So, you know, being able to see tropical landscapes and the snow and the mountains and the oceans. It's like you want to see it all. I just feel like this group has really like deep appreciation for the natural world. I definitely think that you'll be happiest if you spend your life traveling, whether you are a nomad and you kind of, you know, never settle down, or if you just live an abundant life that allows you to go on a lot of trips. I definitely think abundance is in your soul's plan for this lifetime if you don't have it already, like in the material sense. Or you might be an expat in this lifetime, and that was part of your soul's journey as well. Yeah, so I feel like this is talking about travel, definitely financial abundance. Jupiter and that Sag. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I don't remember if it's in Western or Eastern astrology, or maybe it's both, but Jupiter can represent like a husband or a masculine life partner. So that kind of matches with this man holding a heart energy. But this can also talk about higher education. And often Jupiter energy makes me think of like a study abroad. So that could be very specific in your soul's plan as well. Oh, and that's like Orion energy as well, like having that deep thirst for knowledge. and like being on a quest for deeper wisdom. That reminds me of Orion energy as well. I feel like you guys are highly, highly intelligent. Some of you could do very well in school and very well in academic situations. Others of you maybe not so much, but that doesn't change the fact that you are extremely intelligent. And actually, I would say if you've struggled in academic settings or professional settings, it may be a matter of trying it out in a different country or trying it out in a different culture. You might have a very different experience in the classroom or in the office if you're just in another country or culture. We talked about the breath of love. I want to actually read, because this is a new deck for me. I actually got it specifically for this reading as per Asa's advice. It's Galactic Heritage cards, so I'm gonna see what the cetacean whale has to say. Okay. I'm going to read the commentary part. Actually, no, I'm going to read all of it. It's on page 129 in case that's a relevant number for you guys. I've really been thinking about dates when it comes to numbers recently. This can be like January 29th, September 12th, December 9th, September 12th, September 21st, any combination of those. If you don't want to listen to this, feel free to skip ahead, but I'm going to read this passage for those of you who are interested in this cetacean whale card. Shamans teach us to navigate through our deepest unconscious in order to confront our shadows and release stagnant beliefs and habits, creating profound transformation. Whale consciousness, which is connected to Sirius, is shamanic in nature. When we work with it, we must look into the mirror. So that's kind of cool. Look into the mirror and see the false self. Whales are providing this service on a large scale for Earth at this time, but in a very subtle way and mostly through dreams. You've pulled this card because you have a connection with whale consciousness, now or in the past, and it is calling to you once again. Whale consciousness, connected to Sirius, represents group consciousness. Each whale is actually a group unified field, like a group of souls. They swim in the deep waters of Earth as a symbol of the deep unconscious in which our true identity as unified beings dwells. They serve as a reminder that we too are part of a unified existence beyond our limited lives as humans. Whales are the first group species that humans encounter before we become a galactic species. As humans adjust to the whale consciousness and open themselves to what it represents, we prepare ourselves to acknowledge our own true state of unity. Because Earth is going through a powerful transition in consciousness now, whale consciousness guides us through a transition from polarity and fragmentation to unity and oneness. Exactly. This is what you guys are used to. If this card came up in your spread, then some part of your being is accessing this whale consciousness to help your spiritual growth and heal the fragmentation within you. So you guys are on a journey of integrating all the different facets of yourself, your child self, your higher self, parts of you that have been shamed, that have been traumatized, your past, present, and future self, the self that exists within others. This card is called Shamanic Journey because whenever you use the energy of the deep unconscious and are moving toward profound integration and transformation with the help of interdimensional guides, it is indeed a shamanic journey, one filled with shifting realities, changing paradigms, and magical potential. Whether you feel this energy working with you or not is unimportant. If you wish, hold the image of a whale before you sleep and ask for whatever guidance can be shared with you at this time. Then pay attention to your dreams. Aww. So a couple things I pick up from that passage is that I do feel like you have a very like-minded soul group among you on this earth. I also think that your dreams could be very, very telling about where you come from. You could actually dream about some of the places where you've had lives before Earth. So I'm just gonna drink some tea. I'm drinking black bean tea and it's really delicious. Okay, and let's move into the tarot now and see what else your star family wants you to know about your origins or just about the nature of you. So we have the moon. So there's more Pisces energy. I think I mentioned Pisces before with Jupiter. If you guys don't have Sagittarius or Pisces placements, people in your life who have these placements could be significant. It could also be a window of time. So the period between late November and late March might be a very transformative time of your life. We have the Two of Cups. Ooh. We have the Eight of Cups and the Seven of Cups. So there's a ton of water energy going on here. And it's so interesting because we just finished reading this long passage about whales and whale consciousness and how this is related to Sirius, and I believe it's Sirius B that is aquatic. So there's like, obviously with all this water, there's a lot of like aquatic energy going on here. This is very specific, but some of you guys might be into surfing or like scuba diving or snorkeling, something where you can be one with the ocean. Okay, then we have the Three of Swords. And then at the bottom of the deck, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups. So apart from the Three of Swords, this is overwhelmingly water energy. You guys could have a lot of water placements. You could feel an affinity towards water sign people, or this could literally just be showing you guys feeling an affinity towards the water. I also feel like this group has very strong clairvoyant abilities. I think that you're able, for example, to see people's auras. You're able to see in your mind's eye people's energy centers and whether they have a blockage. You could also have very, very vivid dreams, or that's something that you would be able to train yourself to do. I think that you would be really, really good at visual art, whether you know that or not. I think you could be an excellent drawer or painter or photographer, any sort of visual artist like that. And if you do draw or paint, or if you're a digital artist, the things that you create and come up with might actually be reminiscent of the worlds that you have come from, you know, like creatures that you draw or landscapes that you draw or even people that you draw. They could be things that you've seen from your previous lifetimes. I also think that this is a highly psychic group, and I'm hearing that while you may be interested in divination tools like tarot cards and or I don't know, runes or pendulums or things like that, you would actually channel best without any divination tools, like just using your gift, just using your ability to channel. And if you do kind of feel like you rely on divination tools right now, I feel like a day will come, or if you choose to pursue this, where you actually don't need them anymore. You can just like you can just channel messages. You can just relay what you see in your mind's eye. You can just relay what you feel. Water energy, which we have an abundance of here, is highly, highly psychic and intuitive. So Wow, we're like, what is it? 5 out of 6 cards are water, which is really, really significant. But I'm not surprised to see the Knight of Cups here because, and I think this was just the other day, time is a blur, but the Knight of Cups came out and I was talking about how much the Knight of Cups reminds me of empaths. And we do have this empathic Starseed card here. And with the Three of Swords right next to this, I really do feel like this empathic energy that you possess is a blessing and a curse. With the Three of Swords here, it definitely looks like someone has gotten backstabbed. I feel like this is probably you. Either at one significant point in your life or at many different points of your life. I feel like you're in your nature, like you're so innocent and unconditionally loving and you just want to give everyone your heart. And I feel like with the star as this person's face, it's like in your nature, you really do want to be optimistic and you really do want to have high hopes and, you know, see the best in everyone. But I feel like that's gotten you hurt before. And I think that that's something that has kind of been sad for you, and I think that will continue to be kind of sad for you. I do believe that there is very, very deep love for you in this lifetime. Some of you guys have already found it. I am thinking of this as like romantic love, so like a spouse, a significant other. Some of you guys I'm hearing have already found your person and know who I'm talking about. But if you haven't found this love yet, I want you to know that it is out there for you. We have the Two of Cups, which talks about a soulmate relationship. I feel like it's this man holding a heart. Maybe this person is a Sagittarius or a Pisces or a water sign. The energies that are coming out a lot. The Three of Swords is Saturn in Libra, I think. So this is going to be kind of specific, but could be a confirmation for someone. I believe that people with Saturn in Libra are born in like the early 80s, I want to say. So if you or a person of interest is like around the age of 40, give or take, that could be a sign for you guys. But what I wanted to say was that while you will find this true love where you're completely safe to open up your heart and be, you know, the vulnerable and loving person that you are, I feel like it's always going to be bittersweet because, like, yes, I did find this beautiful love here on earth, but even it just hurts me to know that I can't be this open with everyone, that I can't be this vulnerable with everyone. Like, there's a part of you that feels kind of bittersweet to you, because I don't think that comes naturally to you to just be like, I'm going to be discerning with who I give my energy to, and like, I'm going to, you know, put this boundary here so that you can't get close to me, and like, you don't get to, you know, you don't get to come into my space, you don't get to have my energy, you don't get to have all of my, you know, support. Like, we kind of have to take these protective measures on earth and be discerning about who we give our love and energy to and who we don't, you know, to avoid getting hurt. And also, we just only have so much time in a day. And I feel like there's just a little part of you that would always kind of feel sad. It's almost like a homesickness, because I really feel like your home, everyone feels like the Two of Cups. Everyone just feels like, I'm so excited. I can completely open up my heart to you. I can give you unconditional love and receive unconditional love back. And we don't judge each other and we just support each other. And here it's like, you have to be like actively looking for who is like that and who is not like that. Who can you vibe with and who can you not vibe with? And I just think that that's not, yeah, that just doesn't really come naturally to you. And I feel like that's what this Three of Swords is representing. I also think that not only have you been hurt from like being backstabbed, but also just been disappointed at like connections on earth that have a lack of substance. With the Eight of Cups, we're walking away from this because it's just not giving us what it needs to give us. It's not providing emotional depth. It's not providing emotional fulfillment. I do feel, and I feel like this is that Orion energy. I just feel I feel such depth from Orion energy, almost like a hermit card energy or like a life path 7 type energy, like really wanting to, well, maybe not, because they can tend to be, life path 7 can tend to be like loners, and I don't really think that that's in your nature. You might resort, so to speak, to being more of a loner on Earth because of the backstabbing that you've been through or the lack of substance that you've experienced. But I don't think it's in your nature. I think in your nature, you really do want to be friendly and like open to everyone and spend time in a community and be very loving. But yeah, the 8 of Cups is like, I'm searching for something deeper. I'm searching for something more meaningful. And Spirit and your star family want you to know that group is out there. And I feel like a lot of you have already found like one partner or one person who's like really significant, that brings this depth to your life and brings that safety to your life. Water vibes are so heavy, like Pisces, I almost said Piscer, that's not a thing. Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. With the moon and the 7 of Cups here, I think that one thing these are talking about is, okay, first of all, something else is coming through, that like your mental process might be different from most other people, or like the way you learn might be different from most other people. So some people might mistake you for being unintelligent, because you're not like intelligent in the conventional ways with heavy finger quotes, or like in the ways that they deem valuable, or in the way that like the education system deems valuable. But I feel like this group is you're extremely wise, and you have such a wealth of emotional intelligence. You're very, very insightful as well. And I feel like things like insight, wisdom, critical thinking, being able to think for yourself and not just like be spoon-fed the status quo. I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like these are types of intelligence that is hard to teach, or that maybe even you can't teach. I feel like that's innate intelligence that you guys have. I also think that you could be very musically intelligent, or like visually, spatially intelligent. Yeah, okay. Also like linguistically, or like body language, if that's a thing, body language intelligence, I don't know. I think that you can see past people's words and actions and see what they really mean and see what they really feel. Like you're really good at getting down to the core of what people truly feel. Yeah, very good at reading people. So, oh man, I was talking about the moon and the 7 of Cups. What was I saying with those? I wanted to say that this group is highly perceptive and highly psychic. It can be overwhelming sometimes. You could feel really like sensory overload, both from the earth and from higher dimensions. So grounding is going to be very important for you. And also like learning how to turn off that switch, which I don't know if it's possible to fully do that, but learning how to focus on one thing at a time and learning how to ground yourself might be kind of difficult. But I think you guys might also struggle with doubting yourself a lot. It's like you're so brilliant, but you are like the person who doubts yourself the most. You're like your toughest critic. I feel like this group can be kind of hard on themselves. And I think that you can also doubt your own intuition sometimes. It can be hard because I feel like you get a wide variety of psychic messages and you get very vivid messages, but you might struggle to really accept them and really validate them and really believe them. And I'm hearing that that's going to get better when you surround yourself with the right people. I keep going back to this 2 of Cups and man holding a heart. And I keep wanting to say a lot of you know who this is already, or a lot of you already have this person in your life. but they're kind of like the gateway, the gateway to the type of relationship that you deserve. Maybe the gateway to you realizing the type of relationship you deserve, or you really getting an understanding of what you need to have a healthy partnership. Like they kind of demonstrate all of those things for you. But is that everything? That's so interesting. I usually go in order from left to right, but I did not feel like doing that for you guys. Which could also be indicative of your energy, because sometimes if I'm behaving differently or reading differently, I feel like I could be, you know, picking up on your energy. So you guys might be, yeah, like with Jupiter as well, you might be the type to be more of a big picture kind of person, looking at the whole picture rather than doing things like methodically in order, or like rather than looking at the details, you're kind of like a big picture sort of person. Usually I have to go in order or else I get very confused and overwhelmed. But when I sit with your energy, it felt natural to kind of jump around and look at this as a whole picture rather than, you know, just a list, a list of cards to read through. So that's kind of interesting. You see things, yeah, even the world, like you see the world as a whole picture, a whole living, breathing organism. And we're all part of it. That's that whale consciousness that you guys have. But I think those are all the messages that I have for you guys, group number 1. So I'm gonna end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely check out Aso's video if you feel called to it. She's going to be looking at why you are here on Earth, your reasons for coming here and your calling and your mission and all of that stuff. So if that is something that interests you, her reading is going to be linked down below. I'm also going to link her socials and all of those things. I highly, highly recommend checking her out, and I'm so grateful that we're doing this collab together. But if you enjoy my content and you're interested in finding me elsewhere, I am on Instagram as well. I post pick a card readings there. I'm on Patreon, where I have dozens of exclusive pick a card readings and post 2 new ones every month, and you get to choose the topic. I have a music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, you can do so over on my music channel. And I have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple in the intro of this video, and we have hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me and supporting my channel. It means a lot to me, and I am sending you guys so much love, sending lots of love to your spiritual team as well. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number 2s, so if you guys chose the Fluorite Dolphin, who I just find so adorable, this is going to be a reading all about your starseed origins. And right off the bat, if you guys did feel drawn to this dolphin, you may have origins in Sirius, because Sirian starseeds tend to have an affinity towards dolphins, whales, and aquatic creatures because it is an aquatic world that they come from. But with that being said, I did make a little list when I sat with the energy of this group to see what origins came to my mind. In addition to Sirius, I have Andromeda, Mintaka, and Lyra. There could be more that come out later when we look at the cards, but this is what I just felt first off intuitively. So there may be some already here that you resonate with, or you might feel called to research a little bit deeper into some of these places or the traits of starseeds that come from these places and see if it resonates with you. Mintaka, I believe, is also an aquatic world. I don't know much about it, but I do know that in the Starseed Oracle deck, there is a card called the Seas of Mintaka, and it just has like a beautiful, pristine sea on it. And that image definitely came to my mind. What I also know about Mintaka is that their world no longer exists. So sometimes Mintaka starseeds feel like this strange homesickness, a longing for a home that they don't know where it is, or they don't know if it even exists. Just this feeling of maybe not totally belonging and a longing to be somewhere else, but you're not sure where. I guess like an elusive sort of homesickness. You guys might feel like that. And also with Lyra and Andromeda here, I feel like this group, whether you guys know it or not, you are incredibly attractive, both in terms of your physical appearance as well as just the vibe that you give off. I think people find you to be extremely attractive. I also think that this group will be incredibly passionate. I'm also hearing like opinionated, like you really are knowledgeable and passionate and motivated when it comes to the things that you care about, but you have a way of making it look easy. There's something very graceful about you. And I keep wanting to say that you might not see these traits in yourself. You might see yourself as like unattractive or awkward or clumsy or kind of all over the place, but that is not how you come across at all. Like you come across as super hot, super attractive, super effortless, and people like you're like magnetic. People are just so drawn to you. There's also something kind of sensual about you, something like steamy or sultry about you. Like your eyes or something about your facial features. It could also be something about like your fashion or the way you do your makeup, if you do your makeup, that is very attractive to people. But I definitely feel like you guys have a lot of admirers, both secret and open. And especially there's a lot of people who would love to be your friend, or a lot of people who would love to like pick your brain and get to know you better, but maybe they're too shy to approach you. Not because you're intimidating or scary or anything like that, but they just think you're so cool. I think you just come across as really cool, easy breezy, effortless. I think you inspire a lot of people as well, and a lot of people look up to you. People find you to be very like smart and talented and well spoken as well. And I think your words carry a lot of weight, and people really, really value your opinion. You might not realize that the words you have imparted on people really, really stick with them. You might think you're saying something that's like super casual, super common sense, but they're thinking you just dropped a truth bomb on them. You just imparted this wisdom on them. Also, the compliments that you give to others and the uplifting words that you give to others, they really, really stick with them. And again, you might have thought it was just a small thing, but they really, really cherish the words that you said. I think you guys don't realize how many people really appreciate you and actually want to be like you. And one thing that I'm actually thinking now about Andromeda is they just give me a really, really super chill vibe. I have a couple Andromedan spirit guides or friends, I don't know, who hang out around me, and they're just so chill. I think that they have a good sense of humor. I don't know if that's an Andromedan thing or just a them thing, but you guys could have a good sense of humor as well. But the thing with Andromedans is they are very inspiring and very uplifting, and they do have a mission of raising Earth's vibration. But they're kind of low-key about it. They do their work in a more low-key way. They do their work more behind the scenes. They're not super like in the spotlight, in the center of attention. They certainly can be, but they don't have to in order to fulfill their mission on Earth. And I feel like they tend to live a more like low-key and private life. And Andromeda and Lyra give me this feeling of like, it's like you don't have to prove yourself. You're just like, you're hot and you know it. You're confident and you know it. So while you are all that, I do feel like you're also very laid back and humble and down to earth. And you just want to live a peaceful life. And people really appreciate that about you. Okay, so let's finally take a look at your oracle cards. So from the Starseed Oracle, we have Called, Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. We have the Garden and the Gate. Sorry, I just giggled a little bit because I just had this visual of like your star family or like a guide that you have telling you that you have to go incarnate on Earth because you have a mission, and you're responding in the same tone as a kid that's like, Mom, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do my homework. Like kind of bummed about it, or like, oh man. I don't know, it was just a cute visual. We have the Garden and the Gate, and we also have the number 30. So I feel like 30 could be a really significant age for you guys, like a very pivotal year in your life. Whether maybe you are 30 right now, maybe it's in the past, maybe it's in the future. I just feel like it's a big year for you. We also have Cycle, or that's the type of card, sorry. The keyword is decrease. We have Spiritual Sovereignty, Essasani. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Fire Element, Desire. And ooh, the Goddess of Fire. It says, a time for spiritual growth, let your soul shine. Okay, yeah, so definitely the place where you come from, people are extremely friendly, and everyone is just super, super skilled and super talented. Like Hogwarts is coming to my mind for some reason, and I think it's because, like, you know, you have the world, right? That's full of muggles, full of ordinary people. And then you have this school of people who are literally magic, people who excel in things that the muggles could never dream of. I feel like the community that you come from, or the world that you come from, is just very, very advanced and very, very excellent. Like everyone is extremely intelligent and everyone is extremely talented. But there's no ego to it. You're not like, oh, look at how smart I am, or like, I'm smarter than you. It's just like, yeah, we're all geniuses and we know it. Yeah, I think that you guys are highly, highly advanced. I don't know much about the history of starseeds, but like, you probably came from a group that was like the first to master space travel, or the first to master interdimensional travel. You have like all the latest technology. You guys could be like a visionary. You could be here to invent new things in the world. You might feel very drawn to the future, or spend a lot of time like daydreaming about what a utopian future could look like, or a harmonious future could look like. And you'll have to watch Aso's video to look more deeper into this, but I feel like one of the reasons you might be here is to bring those more modern and future-based concepts and inventions that are already commonplace where you're from, and to sort of bring them to Earth. Like you're helping Earth become more modern and updated and advanced, because you already have those futuristic inventions and ideas. I'm getting kind of Aquarius energy from this group, even though there is a lot of fire here. And that's kind of interesting because I feel like Lyrans are often fire signs, like especially Leo, because there's the feline Lyrans, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. You guys could also resonate with Martian energy, as in like Martian of Mars. I think Martian starseeds are a thing. Let's just add them here. Martian. You might feel called to look into that as well. Yeah, and you guys might, you have maybe kind of had this feeling of humans on Earth being kind of primitive in terms of technology or transportation, or in terms of like worldviews and beliefs, in terms of the inequality that still exists. You might kind of find like Earth is stuck in the past, or Earth is just a little bit primitive, and you might have trouble understanding why people cling on so tightly to tradition and like culture and things like that, without really discerning, you know, like, oh, we just do this because it's our culture. We just do this because it's a tradition, without really thinking about, is this the best thing to be doing? Could we maybe change this tradition? No changing. It's tradition. You know, you might have trouble with people who are like, you know, stubborn or old fashioned or like super authoritative or resistant to change, or I feel like the types of people you will best get along with is those who don't put strict labels on themselves, don't put their personality in a box, because they recognize that they can always change, and they're always looking to grow and expand their comfort zone and look for areas of improvement. I think you are naturally very ambitious and very self-aware. And that's the kind of people that you want in your circle, you know, people who are extremely like hardworking, driven, have a vision for the future and like a roadmap, and are trying to become the best versions of themselves. I feel like this group really, really doesn't like stagnancy. You always want to be growing. You always want to be elevating. And maybe there was a part of you that thought coming to have a life on Earth was like taking a step back, because you had this idea of where your trajectory was going as a soul, and then maybe a guide suggested to you like, hey, you should try a life on Earth, and you're thinking like, that old school place? Like, really? But you will realize, or maybe you are in the process of realizing, that your life on Earth actually provides a lot of opportunities for you to grow and advance. I think that there's definitely specific talents that you will feel called to utilize here on Earth. I think that the things that you desire, the things that you naturally desire and that you're naturally passionate about, will be the things that you're meant to do here on Earth. I think this is a very, very creative group. You're meant to create something or make something or invent something, like give birth to something and leave it here on Earth. And I also want to say that you might be called to be in some kind of spotlight, or to be in some kind of public eye, or to be more celebrated and admired. And that might be something that you're kind of resistant to at first, because again, I feel like you guys don't realize how magnetic you are and how admirable you are. You might feel kind of uncomfortable getting that kind of attention, but I feel like where you come from, everyone's really hilarious and everyone's hamming it up and everyone's having a good time. And that's like a part of you, I think, that wants to come out. I think many of you guys have Lyra and Mintaka in you. And Andromeda. I feel these ones really, really strongly. Lyra, Mintaka, and Andromeda. Looking at the garden and the gate and decrease, I do feel like beings who have left their home, like left their home planet or left their home galaxy. You know, with the garden and the gate, you're leaving the garden and moving away into the unknown. And with decrease, I'm getting a feeling of like a species or a civilization who had to, you know, pack up and leave because resources were depleting. Wait a minute, that could be Mars too though, because it's said that Martian starseeds are like originally from Mars, but from a time where Mars could sustain life. And then I don't know the history, but I'm just thinking that could be, because like it feels like you lived somewhere and then maybe the resources started to deplete and then you're like, okay, we have to go somewhere else. I mean, that even happens here on Earth, right? Like the crops aren't fertile. We have to look for somewhere else to live. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from like your tribe, from the family that you come from. So something that could stay with you in this lifetime is, like I said, kind of a feeling of homesickness that you can't really put your finger on. But also maybe you might have a little bit of a lack mentality. Like even if you do have abundance and security in your life, you always kind of have this lingering fear of going without. I just heard like you might buy a lot of food or order a lot of food, even if it's more than you can eat, because you're like, I don't want to run out of food, or like, I don't want to be hungry. Or you might save your money a lot, even though you have money coming in, because there's like a fear that you're going to run out of money. It's like this fear of going without, but there's nothing to be afraid of. You also might, it's funny, I used to have this when I like left Japan. I don't have it anymore. But when I was like a kid and I would come visit Japan and then I would leave to go back to Canada, I had such a weird fear of like, what if like Japan disappears while I'm gone? It's like I didn't have object permanence. I'm like, what if when I come back it's not here anymore? Like, what if something happens? Like, no, it's gonna be here. It's still here. So you might have that weird feeling of like when you leave a place, you're like, what if I can't come back here? Because I do think that at some point in your history, you did have to leave your home planet, maybe to never see it again. So now on Earth, you might kind of have that irrational fear. Like when you say goodbye to a friend, you have to hug them extra tight, even though you're going to see them again like next week. It's that feeling of like, I don't want to run out, or I don't want this thing to go away. Which is kind of, it's a little bit heartbreaking, honestly. And I think that you can learn to feel secure and learn that abundance is with you. You just might always have that little thing in the back of your mind. And I think that that comes from your starseed origins. So for this deck, I'm going to read it from the guidebook because this is a new deck for me. I actually got it specifically for this reading because ASO suggested it. So let's see. Oh my gosh. Let's see what the passage says. 103. Esasani. It's a pretty long passage, so if you guys don't feel like hearing the passage, feel free to skip forward a little bit, but if you do want to hear it, then stick around. Okay, spiritual sovereignty is a place of complete balance. One walks in integrity, has completed unfinished business, confronted and owned the shadow, recognizes illusion, and knows the self intimately without judgment. From here, the person becomes free to feel the flow of the universe that is called synchronicity. This is an essential Esasani teaching. Once you are firmly rooted in an open-hearted life based on integrity and synchronicity, you become a fully realized being. This is a roadmap to awakening for individuals and Earth as a whole. If you haven't already, it's time to begin the journey. And that's making me think of this card, because this card also said like, it's time to step up, and this says like it's time to begin the journey, and this person is walking through a portal. I feel like if you guys don't know what your mission is yet here on Earth, you're going to find out very, very soon. And over the past minute, I've looked up at the camera at both 1818 and 1919. Whenever you're watching this, maybe like 2018 and 2019 were very significant years for you in your awakening journey, or the ages of 18 and 19. It could also be like the 18th and the 19th of the next month is going to be significant. And also, interestingly, in tarot, that's the moon and the sun in that order, like going from nighttime to daytime. So we're getting clarity, we're getting illumination, we're getting hit with inspiration. Anyway, I think your mission, or the next steps of your mission, are going to be revealed to you very soon, likely through synchronicities that you must pay attention to. Okay, so let's keep reading. Let me hold this up too. I just saw 2020. I literally saw 1818, 1919, 2020. And 20 is the judgment card, which is about stepping up and answering your call. Okay. The Esasani species is a hybrid of human and Zeta. So let's add those. Zeta. Let's just throw Earth here too, because Earth is also a star. You might have a lot of past lives on Earth as well. Okay, the Esasani species is a hybrid of human and Zeta, and is a highly evolved species assisting Earth through its transition. Deep within the Esasani collective memory lie the healed lessons of the Zeta Orion, and human species. There's another one. You guys have been around. Okay. You don't have to resonate with all of these, by the way. I'm just adding them here so that we don't forget, and so that if you feel especially drawn to any of them as you see them on this paper, you can feel free to like look deeper into them later. Okay. Because these lessons were fully integrated, the outcome is a species of pristine consciousness capable of non-polarized thought and a catalyzing energy that propels others forward into their own processes of integration. One thing that I think is really admirable about you guys is I do think you're extremely passionate and opinionated, but you're never forceful. I think that rather than persuading people towards the light, towards their awakening, or like persuading people to think a certain way, you just live by example. And that's that silent confidence. Like, you don't have to shout in people's faces with a megaphone to get your point across. You just have to live and be you, and people will just naturally admire you. And that's how you're helping Earth evolve, just by being you and being an example. Okay, the concept of spiritual sovereignty is described well in the card text above, but it is often a difficult concept for the mind to grasp. The human tendency is to think that something out there, finger quotes, will bring us liberation or awakening, such as a specific meditation or a process or having the right guru. But unless we clearly see the false self and refuse to live as that illusion, true spiritual freedom will elude us. The Essassani have broken through all illusion and achieved their spiritual sovereignty, and this potential is possible for humans as well. If you pulled this card, it is most likely acknowledging your potential to do this too. This is a message of gentle encouragement to continue forward and do what is necessary to awaken beyond illusion. Conversely, the card may instead be a warning that your current path might not be leading toward sovereignty, but toward further illusion. Be really truthful with yourself. Go deep within and open yourself to seeing what you need to see for your highest good. If you need assistance, call on the Essassani energy to guide you. So something else that came to me while reading this passage is that some of you guys might be very talented actors, or like motivational speakers, or politicians, because I think you guys are very like naturally charismatic and expressive. Okay, so this is what I see from the oracle card. So let's move on to the tarot now. It's kind of hard to shuffle this one in the way that I always do because it's like small and kind of hard, but I did my best. Okay, so what else? What other messages do we have for group number 2? What else would your star family like you to know regarding your origins, or just regarding you, who you are? So we have Justice. Ooh, so you guys could be talented like lawyers or judges or something like that as well. Also like salespeople. We have the Magician. Yes, you guys are extremely charismatic and extremely persuasive and extremely capable as well. You're also very powerful manifestors. And especially when you allow yourself to be creative, you will be a very powerful manifester. You're like destined to create. And even if you don't want to be like a creative or an artist for a living, I would highly encourage this group to find some sort of creative outlet, because it really does strengthen your manifesting abilities. It could literally be cooking. Just like making something really helps with your manifesting abilities. As well as, yeah, like drawing or doing crafts or singing, something creative. Okay, we have the 9 of Pentacles. the Four of Cups, the Devil, and then we have the Two of Cups. Okay, so I meant for the sixth one, I meant to do bottom of the deck, but it doesn't matter. We can shuffle and take a sixth card. Okay, yeah, so let me see. The Nine of Pentacles, this is Venus in Virgo. So significant people, whether that's you or someone else, could be like a Libra with Venus in Virgo, or a Leo with Venus in Virgo, because we did have Leo energy, or a Virgo with Venus in Virgo. We also have Cancer Moon with the Four of Cups. And then we have Cancer Venus with the Two of Cups. So we could have like a Gemini with a Cancer Venus. Capricorn people could be significant as well. Yes, that's everything. So if you have those placements, then that's just a confirmation. But other people in your life who have these placements could be very, very significant to you, especially in the romantic sense. You might be romantically compatible with people who have these placements. But I want to actually, for some reason, I haven't been like called to do them in order from left to right like I usually do, but just kind of go all over the place where I feel called to go. I want to start off with the Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Cups because I feel like, I don't know, I just keep getting this feeling like you guys didn't really want to come to Earth at first. Of course, in the end, you made the decision to come here because no one can force you to incarnate. But I feel like it was kind of like a fine, I'll do it situation. I think with the Nine of Pentacles, you know, you guys have always been extremely independent and like capable of doing things on your own. That was the case before you came to Earth. And I feel like even after coming to Earth, as a child, you probably learned how to do things on your own very, very quickly. You know, like, I don't need you to spoon feed me my Cheerios, Mom. Like, I can eat them myself. Or like, I can zip up my own jacket, thank you very much. Or like, teacher, I can write my name by myself. You don't have to do the dotted line thing for me. When I was in kindergarten, our teacher like dotted lines of our name, like outline, and then we filled it in. You're like, no, teacher, I can write it myself. I feel like you just caught on quickly. You learned how to do things by yourself quickly. And this is just a trait of your soul. Even when you were in different planets, even when you were living different lives. Of course, you have guides who are watching over you and teaching you, but you're kind of like, yeah, I can do it myself. And, you know, your guides really allow you, I think, to give most of your input, you know. How can I describe it? I'm seeing, for example, a soul coming back from their lifetime, and I'm being shown that like some souls, when they come back from a lifetime, they like sit down with their primary guide, and sometimes the guide has to ask a lot of guiding questions, you know. So how did you think about this experience? Do you think it was trying to teach you this or trying to teach you that? Kind of putting suggestions in that soul's mind. And I feel like you didn't need a lot of that help, you know? You'll come back from a lifetime and your spirit guide is like, so what did you think about this lifetime? And you're like, let me tell you, I think I was supposed to learn this lesson because when XYZ happened when I was this age, I felt this way. And I feel like the direction that I'm going in is this and this and this. And I feel like in my next lifetimes, I should come back as this type of person. And I should probably go over this lesson again because I wasn't very good at XYZ. Like, you just are able to figure all of that out by yourself without much like input from your spirit guides is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And I feel like for this particular incarnation, you kind of had a very different idea. And I think it was maybe one of the first times that your spirit guide was like, how about you do this instead? Like, I think you should go over there to Earth. And you're like, pff, like you spit out your Galactic coffee. You're like, what? I feel like you should, I don't know. It's just this feeling of like you were going full speed ahead in another direction. And while you were not forced to come to Earth, I think this guide who suggested this to you, like, you have so much respect for them. They're like a Dumbledore. They're like the ultimate, like, you just respect them so much. And like, if you really think this is where I should go, I trust you. And you're like, okay. And with the Four of Cups, it's maybe you thought that Earth was going to be boring, or like you thought there wasn't going to be much there for you, because there was that feeling in the beginning of the reading, like you might have felt that Earth was like old-fashioned or primitive, or like you've already been there, done that with Earth being here. Maybe you already incarnated a lot on Earth and you're like, you want me to go back? Like, I already did that. I already mastered that. But the Four of Cups, like, this could be indicating unfinished business here on Earth, something that you're not seeing. And I feel like it's like you moved on from Earth and then you're coming back. And I think you have a loved one who has been on Earth and has like stayed on Earth. And that might be one reason that you came back to Earth for a loved one, whether that's romantic or a family member. Like, you're like, oh, Earth must not be so bad because so-and-so is here. But yeah, this is like a highly independent person, living their best life. They got it going on. And then we go into this Four of Cups energy of like, oh, but there's unfinished business here. There's something we're not seeing here on Earth. It's better than you think. I do think that you're going to find a lot of success here. With the Magician, you are going to be, if you're not already, an extremely powerful manifester. You're going to accomplish a lot in this one human lifetime. You're going to have like a whole big old list of accomplishments that is very, very impressive. With Justice here, I feel like this was talking about things that you are naturally good at. It actually makes a lot of sense that this is here because I see that you're very well liked, charming, charismatic, graceful. These are all Justice Libra-ish type traits. You could have a very excellent fashion sense as well, an excellent humor sense like we talked about. You just have really, really good taste in general. And you could work well with other people, but you don't necessarily have to. Other people will just slow you down. But if you find the right people, like we spoke about earlier, if you find a group who's really willing to work and be ambitious, and that's also self-aware and highly driven like you, I think that you can make it work. And there's something about you that's highly persuasive. And again, it's not like you're yelling at people, you should think like me, you should do things like this. It's just your existence is persuasive. I think that you're like something of a trendsetter, and a lot of people want to be like you. And I want to tell you guys, if you ever saw something that someone else did or that someone else created, and you had this initial knee-jerk reaction of like, they copied me, but then you were like, no, it was probably an accident, or it was probably a coincidence. They probably didn't mean to copy me. It's just like something that a lot of people think of. They did copy you. I just want you to know that. And not in like a malicious, haha, I'm gonna steal group two's idea. But they saw what you were doing and were actively like, I think that's cool, I'm gonna do it too. So just know that. If you ever, and I mean ever, even if you're like in primary school and you're like, I think this kid copied my outfit, or even if you're like if you're a fashion designer and you're like, I think this person, why am I using outfits again? I don't know, maybe people copy your outfits a lot, but I think people do copy you, and it's not malicious, it's just they think you're really cool. With the Devil here, I honestly feel like this could be referring to a limiting belief that you have about Earth. And I think this is here to say, like, don't be so quick judge Earth and to judge the people here, because Earth can really be a great place, and there really are great people who are on your level. I think it's, honestly, I do think it's hard to find people who can keep up with you and who can vibe with you and who can be on your wavelength. But they are out there, and I think that maybe sometimes this group falls into like a temptation of being kind of cynical, or kind of like, oh, I'm tired of it, I'm over it, you know, like I'm just tired of life, I'm over it, people are so this, people are so that, which there's no judgment there, because, you know, that's just a natural human emotion, and honestly, life is kind of tiring sometimes. But I think it's like your reminder to see the good in the world, and also a reminder that every single person that you meet can teach you something. Every single person that you meet does have some wisdom to share with you. I also think the devil could be here to show that you have potential to work your way up, if you haven't already, to like a high position of power, a high position of authority. I think that you could be very influential. I also think that you might bring out the devil type feelings in people, but it's not your fault. So, you know, people could be jealous of you. People could be intimidated by you. And again, it's not because you are an intimidating person. It's just like insecure people could have a hard time being around you, especially romantically. Like, people, you might have had a lot of romantic partners who are jealous or who are even possessive. And it's just like, and again, I don't want to say at all that like that's your fault, because it's not at all. But it's like, you're this like independent, talented, free spirit, and there's a certain type of person who's like, I want to make you mine, you know, or like I want to tame you, so to speak, with finger quotes. But like they can't do that. It's like at first they admire how like talented and ambitious and intelligent you are, but then they start to like resent it because they're insecure and they feel like you're gonna leave them. They feel like you're too good for them, and that's, again, not your fault. But you may have attracted some people like that in the past, and good for you for not like playing their game and letting them tie you down. But I don't know, it's like you just can drive people crazy with your beauty, with your radiance. But we don't have to play that game, okay? Hopefully that's a thing of the past. Because we want, I'm with the Two of Cups, this is like reciprocity. I think that you guys, and maybe you're in the process of this, but like find people who are really on your level and really on your wavelength and value your freedom and contribute to your freedom by expanding your mind and lifting you up. People who keep you motivated, who keep you hardworking. That's like your tribe. That's like your team. I'm noticing in these, they have kind of doll-like faces, very beautiful doll-like faces. I feel like you guys are so beautiful, even if you don't look like this. It's like you literally look like a doll, or you look like a painting, or you look otherworldly with your beauty. But I want to, let's end the reading on that. Let's just end the reading on talking about how beautiful you are. But this is everything that I see about your starseed origins and how it affects who you are and how it affects your life now. So thank you very much, group number 2, for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like. Oh, sorry, I have one more thing to say, is that you're gonna get more and more beautiful with age. That just came through really, really clearly. Like, I don't know how old you are, it doesn't matter. Like, going into your 30s, 40s, 50s, like, you're just gonna get more and more confident and more beautiful. Okay, back to the outro. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely check out Aso's video if you feel called to. She will be talking about why you are here and diving deeper into your mission, your purpose, perhaps why you agreed to come to Earth, diving more deeply into that. So that's going to be linked down below, and I'm also going to be linking Aso's socials. I highly recommend checking her out. And I'm super grateful that we did this collaboration together. If you guys enjoy my content and you like to find me elsewhere, I'm also on Instagram. I post pick a card readings there too. I'm on Patreon, where I have dozens of exclusive pick a card readings, and I have 2 new ones every month, and you guys decide the topics of those. I have a music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was one of my original songs. So if you're interested in listening to that, or the full, what am I trying to say? I'm sorry, I just got another download. And that is that, like, your tastes for food, or like the weird cravings that you get for food, could be from your starseed origins as well. I just got this message that you might love a food that most people hate. Black licorice came to my mind. I was just eating the other day salmiakki chocolate, which is like from Finland, and it has that like black licorice flavor. I honestly hated it at first, but it's pretty okay. But it's definitely a polarizing flavor. Or like cilantro, you know, some people love it, some people hate it. Any like polarizing food that you guys really love, or like something you love that no one else likes. Or you might like weird food combinations. Like you might, I don't know, you might love, I love to put Parmesan cheese on grapefruits. That sounds disgusting, I'm sorry, but like weird food combos that you guys like and other people are like, ew. It might be because some kind of sustenance that you consumed in a different planet tastes a lot like that thing. And for your like starseed taste buds, it tastes delicious and it's like everyone loves it. And then when you come to Earth, this is like the closest thing to that flavor, but it's gross to Earthlings. Yeah, that's so funny. I don't remember where I was at in my outro. I think I was talking about my music channel. Anyway, check it out. And I also have merch at kinotaro.com, which features the floating temple that is in the intro of these videos. And we have mugs, tote bags, hoodies, and sweatshirts. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below. Thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. It truly means a lot to me. And I'm sending you guys so much love to your spiritual team. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the blue Labradorite, this is going to be your reading. So what I have been doing for each group at the very start of their reading is I made a little list when I was sitting with your energy of the starseed origins that were coming to my mind. So I want to show you guys that first. It's by no means a comprehensive list. There may be more starseed origins for you guys, and more might come out as we go through the reading. But just to start off, this is what I have for you guys. Group number 3, we have Andromeda, Lemuria, Pleiades, and Draco. And I actually wanted to talk about this draconian energy because some of you guys might know that draconian energy can have a bad reputation, you know, like reptilians or whatever. But there are light and dark draconian starseeds. Good draconian starseeds are a thing, just like there are good and bad of any race, of any species. Even within one individual person, there is light and dark energies. So there are light draconian starseeds, and in fact, draconian starseeds are extremely compassionate, extremely selfless, very intelligent, hardworking, practical. In fact, I think that they're one of the best at really getting stuff done here on Earth and, you know, putting their ideas into practice, because something that other types of starseeds can struggle with is being kind of I don't know what the word is, but kind of spacey, kind of lofty, kind of dreamy, kind of up in the clouds, whereas draconian energy is a lot more like grounded and practical and good at planning and good at executing. So with a lot of starseeds having a mission to bring about new ideas, new structures, new ways of being, new inventions to Earth, something that many might struggle with is like, I have all of the ideas, I have the inspiration, but I don't have the drive, or like, I don't know how to practically make this a thing in the physical world. And I think you guys are really good at not just having great ideas, but acting on them and making them something tangible. But it is said that light draconian starseeds can have a very tough time on Earth. They can deal with a lot of insecurities, a lot of dark or negative thoughts. I'm also hearing like intrusive thoughts, just like a lot of intrusive negative thoughts. They can quite simply just have a very difficult life, like have a very difficult time on Earth. There is sort of like a shadow side or a shadow energy to this species, which can make it kind of tough. But I do want to say that they are incredibly kind and compassionate. I feel like this group would also have more of a shy or a low-key personality. I think that you're very, very sweet, but you could struggle with expressing how you truly feel, you know, expressing the love that you have for others, or you know, putting yourself out there to help other people, because you could have a shyness or a lack of confidence that holds you back. Yeah, so that's kind of the main vibe that I was picking up from this group at first. So let's take a look at your oracle cards now to see what else we can figure out about your origins, or how your origins are shaping you as a person on Earth. So to start off, we have I'm sorry, defenselessness, righting past wrongs, uprooting. We have the thinking woman, taking steps, returning the favor with Zeta Reticuli. I feel like I'm pronouncing all of the cards from this deck wrong. We have Grand Cross with Provoker, and we have a double 47. So 4, 7, or even 11 could be a significant number for you guys. And then, oh my gosh, and then we have 38, which also reduces to 11. So I feel like you guys might see 1111 a lot as a sign from your star family, or you could also see 4s and 7s. And this card says the unicorn and the fairy, and it says take time to spend however you wish, because that's also really important. Or actually, it's necessary is what it says. Okay, so starting with this I'm sorry card, something that's coming to my mind with this is that some of you guys might have kind of a tense relationship with your family, or with the culture that you come from, or like with your religious upbringing. I feel like there's some tension with the way that you were raised, the place that you come from on Earth, or like the people that you come from. And with this uprooting, some of you guys have maybe moved on to live a life like separate from the family that you were born into, or somewhere that is very far away from your hometown. There is this feeling of like, I want to get as far away as possible. There could also be something with this group where you've struggled to feel like you fit in, or feel like you identify with the communities that you grew up around. So for example, maybe you felt like it was difficult to fit in school, or you felt like growing up it was difficult to make friends because you didn't really care about the same things. Maybe you struggled with having very different values than your family, whether that's like religious, cultural, or just personal, or even society at large. I think that one thing that's very, very strong within this group is truly feeling to your core that we are all equal. And I think that you guys have a very strong sense of justice. You know, I think all humans, most humans, have some level of empathy, and like we don't like to see people being mistreated. We don't like to see, you know, prejudice and injustices in the world. But I feel like you guys have this particularly strongly. I feel like it really, really upsets you, and I would even say like it disturbs you on a deep level when you see injustices happening, whether it's on a small scale, like seeing a kid get picked on at school, or seeing a boss not give a coworker credit, or even like on a larger scale, injustices that you see in society, injustices that you see in the political system, in the government, bigger things like that as well. I feel like it makes you really like passionate, or it makes you really worked up. And some of you guys might feel like as part of your life's mission, you want to right these wrongs. You want to fix these injustices. I think that you guys see that a lot of the struggling that the human race goes through, there's no like logical reason why people should have to suffer like this. Like, we don't need to be suffering like this. It's just that certain people on earth are extremely greedy and extremely power hungry, and they are taking all of the resources and all of the power for themselves. You might honestly see this world as quite messed up. I feel like as part of your past in other worlds, you may carry some guilt because there may have been things that you could have done to help Earth at one point, but you didn't. Maybe you lacked the confidence to do it, or I was having like something was stuck in my throat before and I was coughing. I don't know if I'm gonna leave that in or if I cut it out, but for transparency, I did like cut out, or okay, sure, let's cut it out then. A few moments of this reading because I was like coughing and my throat was really scratchy. Something that you guys could struggle with is like speaking up. You know, like you feel all the emotions, you feel like something is wrong, but then when it comes to speaking up and like standing up, that's when you have trouble. And I think it does come down to like a lack of confidence, or maybe it's even a feeling of like, what is it called? Like accepting defeat. Like no one's gonna care anyway, so what's the point? Because you've seen people not care for such a long time. I think this can go for positive things too, though. Like if you really love someone, or if you think someone's really cool and you want to be their friend, or like you want to collaborate with them, those kind of things could be hard to speak up about as well, because you know, it's kind of like shy to put yourself out there in that way. I think you're really cool and I think we should hang out, or like I see that you're interested in music, maybe we can like make some music together, just for examples, of course. You know, something about speaking up like that and extending offers from yourself like that, you might have trouble with. I kind of feel like a strong shyness, or a lack of confidence that maybe you're working on. Also like awkwardness, and there's no judgment there because I'm very awkward myself. I probably can identify with you guys a lot in that way. But with this thinking woman here, I feel like, for one, you guys are extremely intelligent. I think that you guys probably do very well in academic situations, or you could thrive very well in like higher education. I can see you guys being like researchers, scholars, like philosophers, scientists, big brain type of things. There's a lot of big brain professions, and any profession can be intellectually challenging. But yeah, I think that you guys are extremely intelligent. You might be bookworms. You could really, really love reading. You could be writers yourself, or you could be destined to write a book at some point, both fictional and non-fictional. I also think that you guys have really brilliant ideas. I think we kind of touched on this a bit before, but I think you have brilliant ideas on how to make the world a better place. And it's just a matter of like speaking up about those ideas. I also think for some reason, and I don't know if this is a starseed thing or if it's just a past life thing, you might be drawn to Europe, especially like European architecture, like historical European fashion. Something about it might really make you feel at home. You might really enjoy historical European authors, poets, music composers. Yeah, like the art of that time, or the architecture of that time, the clothing of that time. You could feel really, really drawn to it because, I don't know, both of these cards kind of give me that vibe. Butterflies could also be a very important symbol for you guys. I do think that that is a message from your star family. So it looks like they communicate to you through like 1111s, as well as butterflies. Even this little fairy here looks like a butterfly. Unicorns and horses could be significant as well. And then, yeah, with this Grand Cross and Provoker right underneath, and it's so cool that we have like two 47s right underneath each other. Maybe when you are 47, you're gonna reach some peak in your life, or that's when you're gonna make the biggest impact in your life. But I think you are definitely here to provoke people. You're here to open people's eyes. You're here to think differently. What I will say is that some of your past experiences, you know, like disagreeing on a core level with family, for example, or like disagreeing with the communities you grew up with, that could have been sort of a catalyst for you to realize that you are here to like open people's minds or present contrary ideas to what is widely accepted in society right now. Like to make people more open-minded, more accepting, more connected, but not connected in a performative way, I want to say. Not in the way of like, oh, we all love each other, but we're not actually doing anything to help each other. We're just silently judging each other. Like actually connected, actually vulnerable, actually coming off our high horse. I will say that is kind of a common theme throughout all the readings, but it makes sense. Like we're all here to remind the world of how connected we truly are, and that all of this like pitting ourselves against each other and judging who's better, it's all bull crap, if I'm allowed to say that, YouTube. It's all baloney. But you might have some kind of hot takes as a human. You might have some polarizing or controversial or very, very strong opinions that maybe a lot of the time you just keep your mouth shut about, but I think that you are here to speak those ideas, and you're here to kind of change the commonly accepted narrator. You know, the Grand Cross does it provides a lot of tension. It does cause a lot of tension, but it gets things moving. It gets things changing. Yeah, I feel like you guys are meant to write a book one day. That just keeps coming back. And you are meant to share your opinions and your spicy takes. But also I think one thing that you're meant to learn is that, you know, you can't force people to wake up, and you can't force people to change their minds. You know, some people won't be ready to hear the truth, and that's okay. You don't need to take it personally. You just need to keep going and keep sharing your message with love, and people will receive it when they're ready. Like, it's not necessarily your job to single-handedly change people's minds or like to change people at all. But it is your job to just speak. And even as I'm saying this, I feel that scratch in my throat again, like I'm gonna start coughing. You guys may have a throat chakra blockage, which it's interesting then that you chose this blue Labradorite. I don't know about Labradorite, but I do know about blue. And this might really help to open up your throat chakra, these blue colors. Because I feel like this group struggles with that. Not just speaking literally, but like expression, creativity, putting yourself out there. I was just talking about this with my partner, I think it was yesterday, that when we were younger, we were both extremely blunt, and then we got in a lot of crap for it. So now we're just like quiet and don't rock the boat. But I feel like you guys are meant to rock the boat a little bit. I really do. But that takes confidence, right? That takes confidence, that takes a command of your voice and a command of your posture. But I feel like that's really what, you know, your soul wants to work on. And I think that you are kind of righting some wrong, even like with returning the favor. There might have been a point in your past as a non-human where you had a really big opportunity to help a civilization or to help a race of beings. And when I say race, I mean like one of these, you know, like the Lemurian race, the Pleiadian race, whatever it might be. I will admit that I don't know much. I'm not like a super expert on starseeds and their history, but I do know that there were some wars at one point and some home planets were destroyed. There may have been, I don't know, there just may have been a time in your past where you could have really helped out a group of beings or a civilization, but then like you were too afraid to speak up because maybe you were like afraid of what would happen to you, but then a lot of people suffered because of that. It does feel like maybe you are paying back some kind of karmic debt here. But what I do want to mention with this card, the Unicorn and the Fairy, is that this lifetime, while it may be about like repaying a karmic debt or getting something right that you kind of struggled with in a previous life, this is in no way about punishing yourself. Because the energy that I feel from this card is extremely gentle and loving, and this life is not all about just like your big mission. It's also about enjoying yourself. Enjoying yourself, loving yourself, enjoying your earth home, enjoying your human body home, enjoying your human hobbies. Like, remember to make pleasure and leisure and rest like just as important a part of your life as like these more serious missions and like fulfilling your purpose. Sometimes you might tend to lean a lot towards feeling like you're not doing enough, feeling like you're not working hard enough. And I feel like you guys do have a tendency of punishing yourself, which could make your life very, very hard. You need to forgive yourself. This card is giving you permission to just let go, and not only important, but it's necessary to allow yourself time to just exist and to just do what you want. I feel like green could also be a really good color for this group, green and blue, because we have this green background here, which is very healing. This thinking woman is wearing a green dress. Yeah, it's like there's a need to stop punishing yourself or like putting all the burden on yourself. You don't, it's almost like, and maybe this is just for a few of you, but it's like that you have this feeling that you're like fundamentally a bad person, which could not be farther from the truth. And I feel like that's maybe coming from draconian energy with the limited knowledge of starseeds that I have, because I know that there are some draconian beings who did some messed up stuff. And you might feel like you need to make up for that, or you need to apologize for that, even though like it's not you, it's not your doing. Or maybe you had an upbringing where the adults in your life, or just like the main worldview, labeled something about your identity as inherently bad, even though it's literally not. It's just like people being judgmental and people not having the critical thinking skills and to realize like, oh, all identities are fine, all types of people are fine. Like, ugh, I'm laughing because it sucks. I'm laughing because it's uncomfortable. But let's take a look at this returning the favor card in the guidebook. This is a new deck for me. I actually got this deck specifically for this reading as per ASO's recommendation. It's called the Galactic Heritage Cards. So let's see what it says about this returning the favor card. I'm going to read this full passage, and it is a bit long, so if you guys don't feel like hearing this passage, feel free to skip forward a little bit. If you do want to hear it, just stick around. And in case it's relevant, this passage is on page 121. Okay. During the darkest time, I should add Zeta to this list. I only just learned about Zeta because of this guidebook. I didn't know about it before. But yeah, any of these, like, you could, I just saw 2222. You could feel like you resonate strongly with some of these already. Others you might feel called to, you know, look into them more and see the traits of these star seeds. You certainly don't have to look up any of these if you don't want to. Like, I don't want to assign you homework or anything, but the list is just here, just in case. Okay. During the darkest time of Zeta history, when they thought their species would be extinct, humans helped them. This immense and selfless gift will never be forgotten. Now that their species has passed through the crisis, the Zetas are returning the favor by offering us their wisdom, help, and love in a variety of ways. This is a connections card, which means that you have a connection to the Zeta race, and their energy is available to you in this life to tap into on your spiritual path. You have also had at least one lifetime as a Zeta. Open yourself to their energy and prepare your heart to expand. So maybe you are here as a human to return the favor to the human race. Like, you're making contributions here on Earth to return the favor to humans for what they did for you when you were a Zeta. I feel like that's kind of complicated, but you're like, thank you. I'm going to come back as a human and do good things for you guys. Okay, continuing on. Continuing with the theme of cards 7981, which are all Zeta cards. This card refers to the Zeta era when their species crisis passed. During the Zeta's darkest time, humans helped them. They are tremendously grateful and have done whatever they could to return the favor, mostly by sharing their wisdom, especially from the future time stream. Ooh, I don't know what cards 97 to 100 are, but you guys maybe had some lifetimes in the future, or at least in a time frame that is the future compared to right now, compared to 2022. Obviously for you, it was the present, but it's like right now here in 2022, or whenever you're watching this on Earth, you have already been further into the future. So somewhere within you, you have those memories of the future. And I think whatever it is that, the discomfort that you feel or the anger that you feel from the current state of the world, that's your soul's way of calling you, like, you are here to change this. You are here to change this. You are here to build the future that you've already lived in, which is kind of weird. You're here to help build the future that you've already lived in with your knowledge that you have of the future. This is giving me, like, have you guys seen the movie Arrival? It's like my favorite freaking movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's giving heptapod vibes. You guys should definitely watch that movie if you haven't. I mean, you don't have to, but it's really, really cool. There's aliens in it, and like they come to Earth to share wisdom that they have from the future. And that's all I'm going to say. Maybe that was already too much spoiling, but that's all I'm going to say. You guys have wisdom from the future. Whether you remember it or not at this time, you are here to share wisdom from the future. Okay. They are important guides for humans at this point in human development because humans could possibly take the same road as they did in their past, near annihilation of their species. Love that. Their gratitude is motivating them to return the favor given to them by humans. If you pulled this card, it is likely that a Zeta being from this era is working with you as a way to pay it forward. Let yourself accept this guidance, even if it is only subtle or you can't feel it. Know it is given with much love. Depending on the other cards and your life circumstances, this card may also suggest that someone in your life is attempting to give you a gift. If you are having trouble accepting, know that it is okay to fully accept the gift and nurture yourself by doing so. Conversely, the card may be suggesting that you return a favor to someone else and give the gift with no strings attached. Go within and sense the energy of this card and its possible meanings and see if you can gain clarity on what it means for you. Be open to other more creative meanings as well. This image is actually really, really freaking adorable. If you guys have ever felt a weird paranormal experience, like you felt that there was a spirit around you or that there was some kind of being trying to make contact with you, don't be alarmed. Some of you guys might have been freaked out by it, but I want to tell you, don't be alarmed, because whatever being or spirit was around you, they just wanted to give you a gift. They just wanted to help you. Oh, this is so sweet. And that's that. I was getting such a sweet, sweet energy from this group. I also want to say, you know, I do think you have a star family and you have beings from other dimensions who are always trying to contact you. And I want to tell you guys, if you can't hear them or if you can't feel them, to not feel bad about that. Like, don't get down on yourself about it. Just stay open. Like, accept this guidance, even if you can't feel it. Their effects are still working in your life. Don't feel bad even if you can't recognize that they're there, because they are, and they are working with you. And all you need to do is be allowing and be grateful. And that's enough for them. I also want to say, this is your sign. This is your sign to write someone a letter or send someone a gift if you were thinking of doing that. But let's get into the tarot cards now and see what else your star family wants you to know about your origins. Why am I shuffling it that way? That feels so weird. Your origins, or how your origins have shaped you. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords. Interesting. I just picked up kind of a new spin on the Knight of Swords recently, so I'm excited. We have the Nine of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles, or no, the Knight of Pentacles, but also I'm gonna remember the King. We have Temperance, which fell on the floor. We have the Eight of Pentacles, and then at the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, there is just one thing that I want to mention because I started getting really excited while I was shuffling this deck, and then I started, you know, like stumbling with my words and shuffling kind of messy, and then a card fell on the floor. Something that you guys might struggle with is like pacing yourself, or like slowing down and doing one thing at a time. I just feel like I said, you guys have a very active mind and you have so many ideas that I feel like you can get overwhelmed, and then you start to get kind of frazzled. Like you're doing a million things at a time, or you start a bunch of things and then don't finish them. It's like you have a hard time doing things consecutively, like slowly and one by one, because all of your ideas are coming in at once, and then you're like, and it kind of feels like an all over the place energy. So you might need to just take extra effort to like slow down and do one thing at a time. And this might be something that comes from your starseed origins. You might have just had a much bigger processing system when you were not a human. You had a brain that was much more capable, that had a lot more computing power than the human brain. So you were able to think about like 52 things at once and carry out like 6,000 tasks at once. Like that was normal for you. But when you're in a human body with a human brain, you can't really do that. I feel like you guys could have been very used to like existing in multiple dimensions at once, or existing in multiple bodies at once, or like being in two places at once, or being in two timelines at once. And of course that sounds impossible, and maybe it is for humans, but not for you. Not for whoever you were before. That I feel like that was normal, you know? You're like, oh yeah, I'm in this era, and I'm over here in this era, and I'm over here in this timeline, and you could actually process what was happening in each place all at the same time. It's like you're used to being able to multitask like that. But humans can't do that. We're only in one place, at least that I know of. I'm only here on this chair, and I can only talk about this one thing at this time. And if I try to do multiple, I'm going to stop making sense. Like, I'm going to become incoherent. I can't think about or talk about multiple things. You guys get the picture. It's like you still have that memory that you can do that, but then it makes you get really frazzled here on Earth, and like it can make you get all over the place. So remembering like, okay, let's take a deep breath. Let's just look at the one first thing on our to-do list and let's just do that. And then we'll go to the next thing and just do that. And actually maybe that's what the Knight of Swords and Knight of Pentacles are talking about, because this is the fastest knight and this is the slowest knight. You guys might also struggle with impatience, or just feel like things take so long here on Earth, you know? Like manifesting takes so long. Everything just takes long. People walk slowly. I feel like you're one of those people. It's like, let's keep it moving, let's go. And I think Temperance is also talking about that ability to like slow down, because Temperance is about moderation. It's about self-restraint. It's about finding balance. I think that you guys could be also easily irritable, just because it's like you have a low tolerance for foolishness, or like people who don't know what they're doing. I'm getting like, I know a couple people who have Mars in Virgo who are like this, or just Virgo in general, which is interesting because the 8 and 9 of Pentacles are both related to Virgo. It's like you just don't have a lot, like, you don't have a lot of patience for that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it can just be frustrating for you, you know? Because it looks like this person is face palming. They're just like, oh my God, this stuff, this crap again. Like this kind of thing. Like I said, I do think you do very well in school, but school could have been frustrating because like you might have found that the pace was too slow. Like, do we really have to review this so many times? Like, I already know this. Like, let's just move on to the next thing. Maybe some of you guys even skipped a grade, or you're just really like, you just pick up on things really, really quickly. You're like, okay, I get it. Like, let's move on to the next thing now. You could also have a really good memory. People might often ask you, like, how did you remember that? How did you know that? And you're like, because I saw it once before. Then I just remembered. Yeah, but yeah, the Knight of Swords, it's like highly intelligent and fast, but a different meaning of it that came to me the other day is like having a lot of conviction, you know, like believing in something really strongly and not easily being swayed by like peer pressure or societal expectations, which is kind of giving me Hermit vibes as well. You guys could have Virgo placements or Sagittarius placements with Temperance, as well as air sign placements, especially Gemini, I think, because that's that Mercury energy, or Aquarius, Gemini or Aquarius. But yeah, it's like, I'm not just going to do something just because everyone else is doing it. And if I'm the only one doing this thing, I'm not going to change. It's like, I feel like some people have this way of thinking that's like the most popular held opinion is the right one, because if everyone thinks this way, then clearly there's something to it. But I think you guys recognize that that's not necessarily the case. In fact, it may just be that people are blindly accepting what was passed down to them. So I feel like this is a group that you very much think for yourself. I think you come from somewhere where it is very much encouraged to think for yourself. And also, it would make sense that you're extremely open-minded if you used to have a form that allowed you to exist in many places, times, bodies, dimensions at once. I think your idea of like what is real and what is true is very multifaceted. Like you have a very flexible and open mind, but not moldable. You know what I mean? Like you're flexible, you're adaptable, but on your own terms. Not like, ooh, this brain is easy to mold and make a group 3 think what I want. It's not like that. In fact, I think it's very hard for someone to play you like that, or to manipulate you like that, or put you in a box like that. Because the 9 of Pentacles is also like a highly independent energy. Some of you guys might do best as your own boss, self-employed, or at least something that provides you the ability to make what you want when you want, to study what you want when you want, to kind of call your own shots. I think that will be very important for you. The image on this Nine of Pentacles card is also making me think of stop to smell the roses. So it's like, I feel like you guys just have so much ambition and so much drive to make the world a better place, but you have to remember that we can't be doing that all the time. Like, you need to rest, you need to just have fun. The Nine of Pentacles is about having a well-rounded life and enjoying the little things in life, like literally stopping to smell the roses. It's really, really important for this group. Ooh, the constellation on the Knight of Pentacles when we're talking about star seeds. Maybe some of you guys really are interested in like stargazing or astronomy or astrology because of your star origins. I don't know if this is a constellation that actually exists or what it is, but you guys could be really, really drawn to the stars. And actually your home might be visible from Earth, or like your most recent home, or the home that you feel the most drawn to. Like one example is like, you know, Orion. We can see Orion in his belt from the Earth. Pleiades, I think, is in the constellation of Taurus, which we must be able to see from Earth. Can you tell my ignorance? No, we can, because it's in the ecliptic. In the elliptical. In the ecliptic. Yeah. Maybe it's like in somewhere near the Sagittarius constellation, because we do have Sagittarius energy here. But yeah, oh my gosh, I'm just realizing Temperance, like the Temperance card also features like a highly advanced and highly evolved being. And I feel like that's you. Like, I do feel like you come from the future and come from a highly, highly advanced race. I think one thing that might be also kind of frustrating for you guys is that, yeah, it's like your body can't keep up with your brain. And with the Eight of Pentacles here, I just think you get frustrated by like the clumsiness of the human body, or like the denseness of the human body. You may actually not have had a physical form in most of your past lifetimes. Like you were a light being, or just like you didn't have this kind of like hard, heavy body, you know, with like meat and bones. Because yeah, so you could be kind of awkward or clumsy in your physical body because of that, because you're like, what the heck is this? Like, you mean I can't just like zoom around everywhere? And it's like you're frustrated by the fact that we have to like develop muscle memory over time, or like do things many, many times before we get it right. Because I think that where you come from, it's like you just think about something and then you can do it. You just plant a seed of intention and then you can make that thing. It's like instant. It's like if you were working with like, this actually happened to me. I had like really, really fast Wi-Fi in my old apartment and then I moved into here and the Wi-Fi sucks and I'm not allowed to change it because it comes with the apartment. And it's frustrating because I'm going from like a 3-hour video uploading in like 5 minutes to now it takes like hours and hours, you know? You get used to it, but it's frustrating. But yeah, because the Eight of Pentacles is like, first of all, Pentacles represents physical, tangible things. And then this represents like repetition, consistency, doing things over and over until you get it perfect. So, you know, developing skills as a human takes a lot of time. Learning language as a human takes a lot of time. Any sort of craft like that you do with your hands, or developing agility, endurance, flexibility, like the body takes a long time to change and adapt, and things just take a long time to manifest down here. What can I say? And that might be something that you guys struggle with. And I guess I want to go back to like cutting yourself some slack and being gentle with yourself, because I feel like sometimes in the spiritual community, we like demonize impatience, you know, or like wanting to get things done quickly. Because it's like, you're supposed to trust the plan of the universe. And I'm not like mocking anyone, because I literally say that too. And I do think it is, like, patience and trusting the flow is important. But I guess don't think you're like bad or you have shortcomings because you're impatient. Like, of course it's going to be weird to adjust to a human body and dense matter when you come from a way of being that is not that, and where everything happens like instantaneously, simultaneously, and we're like a million miles ahead. Like, yeah, it's gonna be kind of frustrating, but yeah, just don't feel bad about that. And I think that you will get used to slowing down and being patient. I heard like you guys should eat things that grow underground, you know, like potatoes, carrots. Do onions grow underground? Maybe. Root vegetables, things like that. It could help you to like slow down and stay grounded and feel more comfortable like on Earth in this physical reality. And then with the Queen of Swords here, I feel like the Queen of Swords energy is very, very similar to the thinking woman energy. She doesn't take any crap. She sets her boundaries. She's very smart. I feel like this is just you. I feel like this is just you. And I think that what is that? Did you hear that? Do you hear that? Is someone talking on a megaphone? Is someone singing? What is going on? I don't know what that is. But anyway, what I was going to say is that I think one extra message that the Queen of Swords can like bestow upon you is to not take yourself so seriously. You know, things don't have to be so serious. And just please, if you are doing this, please don't punish yourself, and please don't be hard on yourself, and please don't think you're a bad person or like you're a subpar person, because you're so sweet and kind and compassionate, and you're so freaking smart, and you're just doing your best in this dinky little meat suit. No offense to you, body, I love you. You're amazing, but you know, it can definitely feel that way. And also I could say with the Queen of Swords, I think you guys will be amazing leaders, project managers, researchers, scholars, inventors, freaking also like counselors, advisors, you know, like you have knowledge, you have authority on a subject, and you give really, really freaking good advice. You guys might give people advice and then watch them not take it and mess things up and then just facepalm. Like, I literally told you this was gonna happen. Like, I told you. Which is, you know, partly because you're just very smart, but also partly because you have a little bit of like an ability to see the future in you. You're like, I knew this was gonna happen. I told you. Anyway, yeah, I think, oh my gosh, the King of Pentacles is right underneath this, which is the thing that I said by accident. So with the King of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles here, you guys are definitely here to make some money. If you haven't already, money is definitely in your future. Just as a little heads up. But yeah, I think that's all the messages for my lovely group number 3s. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely check out Aso's video as well. If you feel called to it, she will be talking about why are you here? Why did you choose to come here? What are you going to fulfill while you're here? All of that stuff. That video is going to be linked down below, and I'm super, super grateful that we were able to do this collab. I'm also going to link Aso's socials down below. Highly, highly recommend checking her out if you haven't. And if you like my content and you would like to find me elsewhere, I am also on Instagram. I post pick a card readings there too. I'm on Patreon, where I have dozens of exclusive pick a card readings as well as 2 new ones every month. I have, oh, and you guys choose the topic. I have a music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song. So if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, you can do so over on my music channel. And I have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple in the intro of these videos. We have hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below. And I really appreciate you guys supporting me and supporting my channel. I'm sending you guys so much love, and much love to your spiritual team as well. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Selenite Star, this is going to be your reading, and fun fact, this is the first star-shaped crystal that I have ever purchased. I don't know why I'm so late to the party, but finally I got this Selenite Star, and I also got a carnelian star, which is very beautiful as well. A couple things for this group that I'm picking up before we even get into the cards is that I just feel so excited. Like, I can't really put my finger on it, but I feel excited, like something amazing is about to happen. And I don't know exactly what it is, but all I can say for you guys, group number 4, is that you're about to be having so much fun in your life. Like, just doing the things that you love the most, or even a surprise, really fun experience that is coming your way. That's all I can say. Like, you're just gonna be blessed with a lot of fun very, very soon. Also, before I started filming for this group, I got a huge craving for sweets, literally any kind of sweets. So that might be, for those of you who have a sweet tooth, this might actually come from your starseed origins. The sustenance that you mainly had as a non-human may have been very, very sweet. Like, you might have drank some space nectar and that was like your main sustenance. But more in general, I feel like your culinary taste, or like your taste in food, might be very, very influenced by your star origins. Like, you had similar flavors. And I think there was another group like that. That's so interesting. But you could also, part of your passion or part of your career path as an earthling could have to do with food, the culinary arts, like a restaurant owner, a baker, a food blogger, a food photographer. Like, you could be doing something with food, even like a nutritionist or a dietitian or something like that. Okay, also this is kind of strange, but some of you guys in your past life as a non-earthling, you actually like brought a certain food to Earth, like a fruit. It's so weird. Like, for example, let's say dragon fruit like didn't exist on Earth, and then you as an extraterrestrial like came and brought that to Earth, and so now it's a thing on Earth. That's like a very strange and specific message that just came through. But anyway, let's get on to the reading. So what I've been doing for all of the groups is just sitting with the energy of the group and seeing what starseed origins come to me intuitively. So I'm going to show you guys that list to start, and then we'll get into the cards. You guys actually have an extra one. I think all of the groups had 4. You guys have 5. This is by no means a comprehensive list though, so there could be more origins that come up later on in the reading, but this is what I have so far. So for group number 4, we have Arcturus, Pleiades, Sirius, Atlantis, and also Indigo. I'm not sure if Indigo is like technically a type of starseed, but I really, really wanted to put Indigo here. Pleiades and Sirius, I think, have shown up for a lot of the groups today. I know that there are a lot of Pleiadians on Earth right now, so that makes sense. I'm not sure about Sirius. Maybe there are a lot of Sirians on Earth right now, or just maybe there's a lot of people from Sirius in this community. But Arcturus, you guys are actually the first group for Arcturus to come up. and Atlantis as well. And then indigo, again, I'm not sure if this is technically a starseed type, but I really felt that I should put indigo here. For those of you who aren't familiar, they're called indigo children, I believe, and it's said that they chose to incarnate on Earth to sort of usher in a new age and help the planet ascend. And the characteristics of indigo children is that, first of all, they are highly intuitive and psychically gifted. They are quite strong-willed, so they can be kind of stubborn and they can kind of have a resistance to authority, but they're extremely creative, talented, intelligent, amazing. They can kind of play the role of the black sheep when they're here on Earth. But anyway, this is the this is the list that I have so far. I'm sorry. I feel so excited. I hope I'm not like coming off as too like woo, but let's get into your oracle cards now to see what else we can find out about your starseed origins, or how those origins have shaped you as a human here on Earth. So to start off, we have lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. We have attachment, behind a mask, we have alchemy with Esasani, and I learned this from a previous group because I looked in the guidebook, but Esasani is said to be a race that is like part human and part Zeta. Zeta is coming up a lot too. I feel like I've added this in like 3 of the groups, like the Zeta race. We have Pisces with I believe. And we have the fire dragon or the flame dragon, and it says, have courage, you are protected. Okay, so right off the bat, what I'm feeling for this group, I feel like most of you who chose this group are kind of new to, well, first of all, you could be new to Earth, but I think you're kind of new to the whole starseed thing, like as a human. Maybe this is a concept that maybe you just like heard the word starseed for the first time recently, or you'd kind of heard it before but never really looked into it, or like never really considered the possibility that you might be one. Because the vibe that I'm getting very strongly for this group is that you're kind of being initiated into this idea of being a starseed right now. So like you've just become curious about it, or you've just kind of come to the conclusion that you are one. This is the vibe that I'm getting for this group. I also feel called to tell you guys to definitely feel free to watch another group of this video. If there was another one that you were like kind of drawn to, but then you ended up choosing this one, definitely also watch the other one that you were drawn to, because there could be important messages for you there as well. But I think it's so interesting that all of these top 3 cards have some sort of theme of like inauthenticity or disalignment, if that's the right way to say it. Like this person is chained up, they have a mask, this person is wearing a mask, this person is lifting the veil. It's like we're taking the mask off, we're lifting the veil, we are transcending the illusion. And that's why I get the feeling of, you know, this being kind of new or recent for you guys. It's like this idea that this experience here on Earth is an illusion, or the persona, the human persona that you have tried to keep up until now is not authentic. And with attachment, and this is the part that's kind of tricky, I feel like this group is on a journey of self-discovery right now, and a journey of very significant spiritual awakening. And you're in the process of discovering all of the aspects of you that are not really in alignment, that are not really true to you, that are maybe rooted in fear, rooted in ego, rooted in human tradition, rooted in societal expectations, conditioning from your childhood. It's like you're picking up all the pieces and seeing what is the false self, what is not really you, how you've been living inauthentically. But what I'm seeing for this group is like, just because you're able to identify those things and say, this is not really me, that doesn't make it easy to throw it away. Because we do have this attachment card here. We have this person who is chained to the post. So it's like, I see my false self, but at the same time, it's hard for me to let go of my false self. Because even if it's not really me, this persona has brought me security in life. Maybe this mask that you've been wearing has made you feel accepted, has made you feel normal, quote unquote. It's made you feel safe and validated. Maybe you're afraid of taking off this mask because you don't know what is underneath, or you don't know what life is going to be like without it, like it's all you know. So, in theory, you would think it's easy to be like, oh, this isn't me, this isn't authentic, I'm going to throw that out the window. But that can be difficult. And I feel like this group might be in a little bit of pain right now because it's like, you know that you're living a life that's not in alignment, and yet at this point you still might be too scared or confused to do something about it. And so you're just like watching yourself still in these habits, still wearing this mask, still living this life. This is a very, very easy example just so that you guys can understand. But it would be like someone who has a 9-to-5, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with 9-to-5s. This is just a very simple example. And they just realize like, oh my gosh, this isn't really me. Like this study path that I've pursued and this job that I've gotten myself in and these tasks that I'm doing every day and the way I interact with my coworkers, this is not who I truly am. I just pursued this because I thought that's what I was supposed to want and that's what society expected of me. But I feel like I'm truly wearing a mask every day. What I really want to do is be an artist. It's kind of a stereotypical example, I'm sorry. But I do feel like there's many people who are going through something like this. And so it's like, yes, you've had those realizations, but then you're like, but what will happen if I take that leap of faith? What if I fail? What if I'm rejected? What if I'm ridiculed? What if I'm not actually good at it? What if it brings like insecurity to my life? What if I lose my stability? And then it's this painful in between where like, I know who I really am, but I'm scared to be that. And I feel like a lot of this reading is messages of confirmation for you, because I think that whether you have like done research on starseeds or whether you have yet to do that, I think you're going to find that it's one thing that just makes your life and makes your experience make a whole lot of sense. When you learn about starseeds, it's like something that makes everything click. And I think that this reading is meant to be like that huge confirmation for you, as well as encouragement that you do have what it takes to lift this veil, to free yourself from these chains and to break free. You do have the power to do that. In fact, and I just learned about this from group 3 because I was reading in the guidebook. I think that you guys have Zeta beings who are helping you. And what I just learned about them is that when their civilization was on the brink of annihilation, humans helped them. And so now they are returning the favor. Because what I was just about to say to you guys is that you will have favor if you step out and take a leap of faith towards the life that you want. It's not going to be just a random roll of the dice. It's not going to be like you're stepping out into the cruel world and let's see what happens. You are actually going to be favored. it is going to happen easily for you. It's going to happen quickly, and you're going to be very blessed because you have this favor. And I feel like someone is returning some favor to you. It could also be from Atlantis. Like, I don't know, Zeta and Atlantis, like, are standing out to me the most. You have accrued some good favor. You have accrued some good karma from your past lives as a non-human. And the beings from this race are now going to help you in your human life because of everything you did for them. Like, you're basically, I think I use this analogy sometimes, but like, you're moving through the world with divine bodyguards. Like, no, this is a VIP. You're a VIP, you're cutting to the front of the line, and there's no need to be afraid. Even this card, it says I didn't realize this, but this card literally says, have courage, you are protected. And I feel like with this fire energy and with these Pisces energy, first of all, you guys could have Pisces placements or fire placements, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Aries is like, you're a natural leader. You're meant to be a pioneer. You're not meant to just submit to authority. You're meant to do your own thing, and you're meant to motivate others. Leo is like, you're meant to be creative. You're meant to be in the center of attention. You're meant to live a life that is truly based on your passion and your pleasure. And then Sagittarius, you're meant to expand. You're meant to reach really high heights. You're meant to travel. You're meant to be free. I feel like all the energy of the fire signs are within you, even if you don't have fire placements. Fire signs can also be from Lyra. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I think that's also something I learned. Lyra has been coming up a lot too. Sirius, Lyra, and Pleiades have been coming up a lot. Yeah, I feel like a lot of this reading is confirming to you that you are in fact a starseed, and that your gifts, the creative gifts especially that you possess, are from your starseed origins. And you will create works that remind you of back home, or that are like similar to back home. And I feel like almost like remembering your origins is an internal process through the things that you create. So I know this is kind of ironic because I am sitting here and giving you a reading, but all the memories of your origins are in your subconscious. You could see them in your dreams, but I feel like this fire and Pisces energy, it's like through the things that you make, you will be reminded of home. So, for example, let's say you have strong roots in the Pleiades, and you want to know more, like, what does that place feel like? What does my star family feel like? What does that home feel like? What is the energy? What is the vibe? What is the environment? And then let's say in this lifetime you have an affinity for music. Like, literally through the music that you make, like when you put it out there and then listen back to it, it will teach you about home. Or like, if you're from Arcturus and then you have an affinity for drawing or painting, like if you want to know about your origins, the best way to do it is draw and paint. You will like go into a trance when you make these things, and then take a step back and look at what you've created, or listen to what you've created and feel it. Like, all the information about your home and your roots is within you, and it wants to come out through creations. And so this process of discovering your roots is very personal, and it's very like inward. It's very internal. Spirals could be a significant symbol for you guys, because we have the seahorse's tail going in a spiral, and we have this like snail shell going in a spiral. And peculiar aquatic creatures could be your spirit animals. You know, like seahorses are kind of weird. Snails are kind of weird. Like hermit crabs, starfish, abalones. This is actually an abalone shell. You know, not just like plain old like fish, dolphins, but the more kind of peculiar creatures, which is strange. But let's actually see. Is there a seahorse in this book? I feel like there might not be, but it's worth a try. Oh, there is a seahorse. Let's see what the seahorse has to say. You're being called upon to sacrifice your own needs at this time to be in service to another person or a cause. This is a good time to experiment switching gender roles, doing things that you ordinarily think of as belonging to the domain of the opposite sex. Volunteer some of your time to a service organization. You're about to go on a quest or spiritual pilgrimage of some sort, so prepare yourself by being open to the opportunity when it surfaces. Wow. So you're definitely on a spiritual journey. For some of you guys, this could have to do with your gender identity or just like discovering more about how you want to express yourself. And then there's also a lot of messages of service in this. So I feel like many of you guys, as you develop your spiritual gifts, you will be called to use them to serve in some way, like perhaps through being a tarot reader or through being an energy healer, or through being a medium so people can speak to beings who are not on earth. I think you will likely feel called to use these gifts to serve others. It doesn't mean that you have to, but you will probably feel in your element when you're using your spiritual gifts to serve and when you're using your creative gifts to serve. So let's read the passage from this Galactic Heritage deck. I actually got this deck specifically for this reading because ASO said I should, and she's the queen, so I do what she says. And it's a really cool deck. So I'm gonna read the passage for our Essasani friends. It's on page 141 in case that is relevant to you guys. And I am going to read this whole page. It's kind of long, so if you don't feel like listening to this whole passage, you can definitely skip forward a little bit. But if you would like to hear it, stick around. Also, just back on the subject of food, like I'm getting a lot of like smells and tastes from this group. You guys could have like clairgustians, I don't know how you say it, like the ability of tasting psychically or smelling psychically. You could also have synesthesia, so like certain colors bring a taste in your mouth, or like certain sounds have a color, certain words have a smell, you know, like the fusing of your senses. If you have synesthesia, of course you'll know what that is, but yeah, you guys could have synesthesia for sure. The way you see color, just the way you see the world, is very, very fascinating. All right, so let's read about our Essasani. Alchemy. Reality is created through our conscious and unconscious thoughts, emotions, and intents. When they are aligned, we become the reality that we prefer, as long as we are following our excitement, which represents the natural flow of the universe. That's so sweet, because I started off this reading just feeling so excited. So as long as you are following your excitement, you will be in the flow. You will be in your element. This essential Essasani teaching is a process of alchemy, but it means that we must look at our self-sabotaging behaviors and confront our shadows, knowing ourselves fully. Only then can we come into full alignment with our true selves. This card means that it is time for you to take this step. Clean up unfinished business, be free, and embrace synchronicity. In addition to spirals, feathers could be a very significant signal for this group. The Essasani species is a hybrid of human and Zeta and is considered to be a highly evolved species assisting Earth through its transition. Deep within the Essasani collective memory lie the healed lessons of the Zeta, Orion, and human species. Because these lessons were fully integrated, the outcome is a species of pristine consciousness, capable of non-polarized thought and a catalyzing energy that propels others forward into their own process of integration. Alchemy is the process of using two seemingly opposite forces and bringing them together for profound transformation, nearly magical in nature. You guys could be bringing together masculine and feminine energy. in this lifetime, because those are like seemingly opposite, so to speak. So the balance between yin and yang, the balance between feminine and masculine. Some of you guys might be on like a divine counterpart kind of journey. If you resonate with that, if you feel like you're on that journey, there's definitely confirmation of that here. What have I read already? This is why you don't do commentary, Kino. Okay, this card also connects to the past lessons from Orion that were successfully integrated. If you pulled this card, its meaning can vary. A likely interpretation is that there has been, or will be, or needs to be a shift in your life circumstances that comes in an unexpected way. Sorry, I have to do commentary because I love that for you guys. We've spoken about how you might be in this uncomfortable in-between where like, I know something is out of alignment, but I don't know how to fix it. Or I know something is out of alignment, but I'm too scared to change. And these Esasani are saying, don't worry, we'll help you. We will bring change to your life. If you are afraid to take the steps, we will help you. We will bring this change to you. And then all you have to do is embrace it. Like for example, going back to that 9 to 5 person's example, maybe something happens that they get out of this job. And so all you have to do is embrace that. And it's like, as long as you don't actively go crawling back to that job and say, please take me back, then you will just get taken on the current and you'll get taken to where you need to be. So it's like, you could not go on the wrong path unless you were actively resisting the changes that your star family are bringing to you. Also, yeah, there's like, some of you guys are moving towards a very, very specific partnership, because I just saw 2552 and some of you guys know I've been seeing this number for months. Some of you guys have been seeing this number for quite some time. Not just 2552, but like, you know, 5252, 2255, anything like that. And it is telling me about a wave of unions that's happening on Earth. You know, humans that are meant to be united, that are meant to be together for a joint purpose. A wave of unions like that is happening. And it might be you and someone who is seemingly opposite to you. And then you're like both integrating your essences. Okay. If you pulled this card, its meaning can vary. A likely interpretation is that there has been, or will be, or needs to be a shift in your life circumstances that comes in an unexpected way. Our minds often think change is predictable and happens according to a linear model. A plus B equals C. But everything we experience is the result of an alchemical process, an energetic mix of our thoughts, belief patterns, emotions, resistances, and so on. All of these variables create a powerful energetic soup, food again, that propels our trajectory. The Esasani are experts in harnessing these alchemical processes and shifting the trajectory toward awakening. Now it is essential to do the inner work necessary to understand the forces that affect how your reality is created. See yourself clearly, including your self-defeating habits and patterns, as a way to free yourself from limitation and illusion. Yeah, this has awakening energy all over it. And a lot of food energy. Maybe you guys have Taurus placements as well, which I know is very stereotypical, but it's said that Taurus love their food. On that note, if you feel like you've had strange shifts in your appetite, it could be because you're going through energetic updates or you're receiving a lot of downloads right now. So you might find that your appetite is a lot bigger than usual. You might find it's a lot smaller than usual. It's fine. Honor whatever your body needs. But if you were wondering why, I think it's because of some update that you're going through or some downloads that are coming to you. So let's move on now to the tarot and see what else you guys need to know about your origins or how your origins are shaping you. So we have the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands. So these are both Aries energy, which I think we were speaking about before. You guys are definitely a natural born leader, or at least like, if you're not meant to lead a group, you are definitely meant to lead yourself and be in charge of yourself. I don't see you guys living a life where you are like answering to authority or you have a boss. I feel like this group, you are very much going to be your own boss. I feel like it's really important for you guys in this lifetime to step out of your comfort zone. I think at one point you will go through a pretty significant relocation. So, you know, not just like moving to the next town over, but perhaps going to another state or province or region, however it's called in your country, or moving to the other side of the country, or even to another continent. Like, this is kind of big moves that are happening here. I feel like a significant relocation is like in your destiny, whether it's a result of something you're doing, or for example, like your spouse gets transferred somewhere and you go with them. But definitely, I think you'll end up in a different physical environment. I think likely where the people kind of think differently, it's a different culture, and that's kind of where you're going to find your people with this Four of Wands. That's where you're going to feel the most at home. I see you finding a new home here on Earth that is not where you come from, but there's this feeling of like, where has this place been all my life? I just feel so comfortable here. I just feel so safe. And then interestingly, the Four of Wands can also talk about divine unions. And, you know, we were speaking about like a collective wave of unions that's coming in. If you guys are married, or if you do want to get married, I feel like your spouse is also a starseed and is probably from the same place as you, or like you've had past lives together as extraterrestrials. And I think if you have children, or if you do in the future, they will also be starseeds. You, or a person who is very significant to you, could have like long wavy brown hair as well as brown eyes and like a fair complexion. Is it me? Sorry. Anyway, we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. We have, the Ace of Pentacles. And then we have the Lovers. Wow, yeah. There's an important union for this group for sure. There's like the two of you guys, yin and yang. It could be romantic, it could be platonic, but I feel like there's another very significant fellow starseed on this earth who is also looking for you. And you probably have a very strong telepathic connection, which I think is just normal for you guys. I think that in your starseed origins, like everyone was just telepathic with each other. That was like how you communicated. So when you both came down on Earth, you kind of maintained that ability. You know what I mean? When this person's higher self is trying to get in contact with you, you might feel some pressure in your forehead, or just like feeling pressure in your head, or like a very specific pain in your head. And that's them trying to get your attention, trying to say something to you. Funny that we have fruits here as well, because there was that message of you guys bringing fruits to Earth. That was very specific. But with this Ten of Swords here, followed by the Ace of Pentacles, at some point in your life, whether this happened in the past, is currently happening, or is going to happen in the future, you will go through something of a burnout that will lead to major abundance and fulfillment in your life. So And I think it has to do with your work, but also just spreading yourself thinly in general, you know, like going so above and beyond to help everyone and do everything and be everything for everyone. And it would lead to a burnout, which would then be like a wake-up call for you. It's interesting that there is always kind of a sunny sky in the horizon of the Ten of Swords, but in this deck, there's literally a big sun in the sky, which is unique to this deck. And it is making me think of a wake-up call, you know, like the sun is rising, wake up. A burnout that you go through at some point in your life is going to be a wake-up call of like, I got to take better care of myself. I got to start saying no. I literally cannot keep doing things that I don't want to do because it's literally bad for my health. Like it's literally bad for me. Like I'm literally not supposed to do that. I think that I think that it's going away, hopefully, but there's been this program in Earth's collective consciousness that is like, if you want to be successful, you just got to do things that you don't want to do sometimes. And if you do the things that you want to do, it means that you're lazy. It means that you have weak willpower, that you're being selfish, that you're just seeking comfort. And I think that in some ways we feel a sense of like admirability when we're like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. And because I have to, and like, I'm going to complete this task. It's like, oh, look, you have such discipline. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time explaining this, but I think you guys get the picture. It's like, oh, look at us, we have such discipline. Because like, I'm tired, but I'm getting up and doing it anyway. Like I'm spread so thin, but I'm saying yes anyway. Look at me enduring. And I think this burnout is making you realize like, this is not worth it. I literally cannot live like this. Not just that I don't want to, I can't and I shouldn't. Because at the end of the day, all I have is this one body and my physical health is so important and I just can't be wearing myself out like this. You're having this kind of realization. And it's interesting that we have a 10 and a 1 too, because like 10 is an ending, 1 is a new beginning. And then this new beginning where I think you're going to be more in charge and you're going to be more free, that's what's bringing you in all of this abundance. This abundance that you didn't think you could have before. Like, it's like you were saying, I can't leave my job. I make 100 schmeckles an hour. And then like, you leave your job and then you're making like 20,000 schmeckles an hour in the new job. It's like, I never even fathomed that I could have this. If I knew this, I would have quit ages ago. But there was just this limiting belief that like this was all that I could have. This is your new energy. This is the energy that you're stepping into. This is what your star family has set aside for you. This is what they're favoring you so that you can receive. You guys, there's big professional success for this group if you are willing to be bold and come out of your comfort zone. With the Knight of Pentacles, I definitely think that you guys are extremely hardworking. You do have a lot of endurance. You do have a lot of stamina. I think you're very strong-willed and you can see things through to the end if you really put your mind to it. But we should be discerning about where we use this energy. And it's like your star family wants you to think more, what can the world do for me? What can life do for me? Like, be a little bit more selfish. Because even if you push yourself a little bit more to the selfish end of the spectrum, you're still going to be very selfless. Because I think until now or until recently, you've been thinking a lot like, what can I do for you? What can I do for the world? It's like, think about it the other way. What can I get out of this? And if you're like, don't let your inability to finish a project or to follow through with a task judge you as a person. Like, no, that just means the task was dumb. It just means I didn't want to do it. It means I didn't have time for that. It wasn't worth it. Like, these ways of seeing it, that puts you more in the power. Like, you can't let jobs define you or let tasks define you. They're inanimate. You're a whole living, breathing person, and you should create a life that accommodates you. Because you're the person. It's like when you wear a dress and it doesn't fit you well and you're like, oh no, I need to change my body so that I can fit into this dress. No, the dress should change. Like, the dress was created for you. You were not created for this random dress. Like, what is her name even? Like, I don't even know her. Like, she's irrelevant. It's just a piece of fabric. You are the one to be accommodated, is what your star family wants you to know. So yeah, like, oh, I'm struggling in this job. I should become more this. I should develop this trait. No, I'm struggling in this job. This job is stupid. I'm going to find something else. Like, I think that's more how your star family wants you to think. And that might feel kind of scary because you're like, if I live like that, I'm never going to be productive. I'm never going to get anything done. But you will, because once you find the right place for you, that's when that hardworking, persevering, committed, persistent energy comes out. This is not a way of being that you should just blindly be all the time. You should be this Knight of Pentacles for projects and for jobs that deserve you. Like, okay, I'll bring out the perseverant, committed group 4 for this, you know? I will grace you with my hard work. We're not working hard to be like, oh, please validate me. We're like, you'll get my hard work if you deserve it. That's the vibe that we're stepping into. Yeah. So I think that's all of the messages for my lovely group number 4s. Aries and Gemini energy are very strong, I have to say. Because we have Aries, Gemini, Pisces, obviously. Oh God, I'm naming a lot now because fire signs and earth signs are also present, but especially Aries, Gemini, Pisces, and Sag. And that's my final answer. Okay, so group number 4s. These are all the messages I have for you. I just saw 4141, by the way, while I'm moving the Lovers card. 4141 makes me think of home. So you have some connection that really feels like home, because you are both from the same home, from the same star home. So you make each other feel safe and comfy. Yes, these are all the messages I have for you, so I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely check out Asa's video as well if you feel called to it. She's going to be going in depth about why you are here, why you came to Earth, and what you're going to be doing and accomplishing here, and all of that stuff. So that video will be linked down below, and I am super, super grateful that we could do this collab. If you do go over to Asa's channel, say hi to her from me, tell her Kino says hi. And I'm also going to be linking all of Asa's socials down below. I highly, highly recommend checking her out if you haven't already. And if you like my content and you are interested in finding me elsewhere, I'm also on Instagram. I post pick a card readings there. I am on Patreon, where we have dozens of exclusive pick a card readings plus 2 new ones every month, and you get to choose the topic of those. I have a music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video is an original song of mine, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, you can do so over on my music channel. And I have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that we have in the intro of these videos. And we have hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below. And I really appreciate you guys supporting me and supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. I'm sending you guys so much love, lots of love to your spiritual team as well. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.